It's hump day. Good morning, everybody. Glad to be back. Welcome to the 825th episode of the
Woo.
Two Gun Yinzers. Good morning, good morning, good morning. Mike, that means, you know what that means? That means just 175 more shows.
Yes.
And we'll be sitting at the big 1,000.
Wow.
1,000. It's pretty amazing, man.
It is. I can't believe I sat here and talked to you 825 times.
You're killing me.
We've only tried to kill each other a handful of times.
And it was only a handful of times. You know what? We were actually doing pretty good.
I think you can count it on one hand. So, in the grand scheme of things, we're doing pretty good. You know, Simon and Garfunkel still don't talk to each other. Hall and Oates want to kill each other.
It's funny, as I was setting my stuff up this morning, I was humming some Hall and Oates. It's funny that you actually said that.
Maybe subconsciously, I heard the Hall and Oates. Didn't know it was Hall and Oates. Probably heard it.
I didn't know what you were doing down. So I figured you were out down there popping your pimple or whatever the hell that is on the back of your neck, and I just stayed up here minding my own business and sang Hall and Oates and got ready.
Don't be hating on the pimple, man. Like when it gets going and it's huge and it starts pulsating, and I get all sweaty back there at work, and it's just like boom, 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 boom.
Yeah,
pulsating like a prolapsed anus.
Maybe we'll have you talk more about your prolapsed neck anus as the show goes on. But I do want to say good morning to Cody. Always great seeing Cody on the board. Tupac and Biggie. I tell you what, man, that was my shit growing up. Tupac and Biggie. And in the 90s, I gotta be honest, it was in the early 90s. It was Dr. Dre and Eazy were going at it. They were effing up, they were effing with each other, and then that ended. And then Tupac and Biggie was in the mid 90s. The 90s were big for what do they call that? Where they kind of go at each other.
Feuds, beef.
Yeah, there was a lot of feuds and beef going on in the 90s. And then whenever Biggie and Tupac got involved, people started dying and shit. So I think after that, the rap game kind of changed up a little bit. But nonetheless, man, that was my shit growing up. I loved. Matter of fact, Tupac. It was more Tupac than Biggie. It wasn't a big Tupac. I wasn't a big Biggie fan, but I loved Tupac. But that be that, guys. Good morning. Welcome back to the show. Welcome back, everybody. Again, this is episode 825. Just 175 short episodes away from the big 1,000. It'll be here before you know it, Mike. But I tell you what's going to be there before that is going to be the big Steelers and Cleveland Browns game this Sunday. In week 6 of the NFL, a lot of things, and I can tell you this: people are getting they're getting anxious. They're ready to go, and I think for a couple reasons, because we were off and we're 3-1, and people want to just kind of get the show back on the road and see, what we got. They're tired of hearing about, the Steelers didn't play anybody, the Steelers this, blah blah blah. And I think people are just chomping at the bit just to get back to it and see how these Steelers look against the Brownies and just kind of get this show back on the road, especially after being off for that extra week. So I think that plays into it. But I got to be honest, Mike, me included, I'm like anxious. I'm anxious and excited for the game this week.
Me too. Usually I'm like, okay, yeah, there's a game coming on. I'll watch the game Sunday. Now I'm like I told you before the show, it's like, can it be Sunday? I am ready for some football right now. I'm ready, to hear the pop of the pads, crack of the helmet. It's like the bye week. I feel like it was preseason all over again. Like I off season. I mean, like I want some football in my life. You gave it to me, but you took it away. Now I want it back. Today I'm just, I want to watch some fucking football. I'm actually.
And you know what, Mike? It's just not, and it's not just
for the Thursday night
because,
game. I want to watch the Thursday night game, and I know it's going to be terrible, but it's football.
Well, it's kind of the case. I always want to see football, but Steelers football is different. I mean, I could watch Thursday, I could watch all day Saturday, but I just want to watch my Steelers. That's all I care about.
Yeah, that's all I want it. I want it now.
Good morning, everybody. Good morning on the board. The terrible board filling up early this morning. We've got to say good morning to Cody. Got to say good morning to John. Big John Stud, middle name Mud. Always great seeing you, man. And I also do want to say good morning to 007. Always great seeing you on the board also, my friend. And some good messages so far. Let me get into it, Mike. Cody says the Menendez brothers. I don't know if they're starting to refer to us as these people, but I see a trend going on the terrible board. Also, John says pimple like a cream-filled donut. There you go, Mike. Why don't you tell us a little bit about your pimple again before we get started, huh?
It's big and white and just boom, 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 boom.
I've seen it before. It's rather foul, and I just don't understand. How do you get rid of that? How do you
I probably should go see like a doctor so they can get everything out of there, because it's it used to happen like once.
And then on the other hand, it's a pimple.
20 years. Now it was once every 5 years. Now it's like once every 6 months. It's nasty. It's stupid. I should go to the doctor to get it checked out. It's a simple procedure to, make sure this stuff never happens again. But that's time I got to take away from the show.
And it's an extra character for the show too. Why take it away?
It is too. It is too. If I can, we got the dummy on this side. If I can get the ingrown hair or the boil or whatever it is,
You're just there's a whole disgusting thing going on with you in there. What's going on?
And we can hit a button, and like yarn will pop out like it's just shooting out pus.
Well, see, I thought of that. I thought about shooting out the pus on the air, maybe doing something fun like that. But Joan on the board is saying your pimple has its own social security number, and it has the ability to learn. So we could always replace Derpy with your pimple.
Exactly. See, look, I'm thinking out for the show. It's gonna be next year to do the pig segments. It's not gonna be me. It's gonna be the pimple.
I got to be honest with you, Cody. I agree. Cody says only women and children go to the doctors.
Maybe that's why they live longer.
And Mike's going for a pimple. And
did I go? No. I'm rubbing dirt in that open wound like a real man.
007 says, could the Browns Steelers game be a trap game? Absolutely. And I'm worried to death. I'm worried to death. And I'm going to tell you why. We're going to get into some numbers here shortly. But numbers kind of indicate that at some point the Browns just might beat us at home. I didn't realize things were going as good as they were. We'll get into those numbers here in just a second. I do also want to say good morning to Mark Malone. He says, dude, just grow a natural scarlet. Mike, quit effing around and grow the scarlet.
But if I do that, it's just gonna. That's more hair back there. That's the problem.
You see what I deal with here? You see what I deal with?
Oh, you deal with a lot.
All right, let's get into a little bit. First, I do want to say this, Mike. The Pittsburgh Penguins did start their season off with the win. Yes. They did shut out the New York Rangers, who does have the Pittsburgh Penguins former head coach Mike Sullivan leading the way for them up there. Penguins go up and win a 3-0 game. Their goalie Mike shut out 25 saves in his first game with the Penguins. Looking good so far, so good. And so good. They head home to play the Islanders. That game's tomorrow at 7:00.
Sidney Crosby, 0 goals, 0 assists. He's a bum. Trade him. What's he ever won?
He sucks.
He sucks. Well, yeah, he'll finish the year with like 95 points.
Good morning to Richard on the board. Richard says good morning. Cody says no trap game. We're going to blow those skid marks out of the toilet. And I think you're right. But again, as I'm gathering information for today's show, I'm looking at some of these numbers, Mike, and I'm kind of worried because the numbers are actually too good. Yeah. Let me get into them here just a second here.
Yeah.
You can take a look. So this is what it looks like, guys. So Mike Tomlin after bye weeks is 14-4, 77% following bye weeks. That's kind of, I don't know. Okay, so we'll take, it's always these things like they haven't lost a Monday Night Football game at home since 1300 AD. It's these kind of games.
Exactly.
Where the numbers are so, they lean our way so heavily. I kind of worry about them. Mike, again, Mike Tomlin, 14-4 following bye weeks. Also, Mike Tomlin is 26-6 while facing a rookie quarterback. 26-6 when facing a rookie quarterback, which is in fact exactly what it is that we're facing this week. And it could be two. We could be seeing two different rookie quarterbacks just depending on the way things go. Of course, Joe Flacco going to the Bengals. Mike, it looks like number 1 and number 2 on the depth chart for Cleveland this week. It looks like it's going to be Dylan Gabriel 1 and Shedeur Sanders 2. So I guess it's possible we could see two rookie quarterbacks this week. But let me get back to some of the numbers that frighten me. Again, first, 14-4 and games following a bye while being the head coach here in Pittsburgh. That's a 77.8%. Mike Tomlin is 26-6 when facing a rookie. Here's another one. Pittsburgh is 18-1 18-1 at home versus the Cleveland Browns. Mike, 18-1. That number scares the shit out of me, just because it's almost, we're. I think a lot of people are expecting to win, and I hope that doesn't carry over. I hope that stays within the fan base, because I think the Steelers, with all this Bengals talk and all this Joe Flacco talk, it might be easy to sort of look past this game in a way. And believe me, I know they're preaching, you can't look past this game one game at a time. But Mike, those numbers again, 18-1 versus the Browns under Mike Tomlin. Tomlin is 14-4 games following bye weeks, and again 26-6 when facing a rookie. Those are all extraordinary numbers.
Yeah,
and that's what worries the shit out of me, because we're all going to be kind of expecting an easy win. And again, it's AFC North football. It's never easy. Again, Joe Flacco beat us last year for the Browns, throwing 2 touchdowns, no interceptions in that snow globe game. Like, anything could happen in the AFC North. Are these numbers, are these positive numbers, do they worry you at all?
Yeah, a little bit, just because, a trend like that. So at some point, they got to start swinging the other way. We were so dominant over Baltimore, like winning 10 out of 8. And, last 2 times we played them, they won. Things are starting to swing their way. And I've been saying all week, man, this game is not a gimme. And you start looking at Cleveland's defensive numbers and some of the guys they have on offense, this game's going to be a tough game. We did split the season series last year between them. So, yeah, I've been going into this game like, I think we're going to win, but I think it's going to be a whole hell of a lot closer and be a harder victory than some people want to let on, just by going, it's the Browns. It's the Browns. But yeah, they're that Browns defense is top 10 defense in the NFL right now. It could, by the end of the year, it wouldn't surprise me if they're top 15, if their offense can get their head out of their asses to give them a break. So yeah, I think this is going to be a very tough game for the Steelers.
And a couple of things you have to consider as well, Mike, of course, going into last week's game with Cleveland and Minnesota, you got to kind of, again, like we were saying, compare who the team you just played with against the team that you're coming up against. And that was exactly what we had last Sunday morning. And they lost 21-14, 21-17, whatever it was. And the fact of the matter is that they, you've got to look at the Vikings. The Vikings gave up 2 touchdowns to them. They gave up 3 touchdowns to us. So it was very evenly played, in other words. In their defense, what they did was they held Minnesota to 21 points. So you got to think, what did our defense do? Our defense held them to a little less than that. But then you kind of start comparing and seeing what you can make out of it. It was a pretty even game, Mike. It was basically the same game that we played with the Vikings, but they just ended up the Vikings ended up coming out on top of that game, which makes me believe that we are a little bit better. But again, Mike, is the fact that the scores were so comparable, just basically a touchdown difference from our game with Minnesota and then Minnesota's game with Cleveland?
Yeah, it was around that area too. And that Dylan Gabriel, for a rookie, his first game, didn't look like he was afraid to be out there. So I know people say there's no moral victories in the NFL. There is. This cat proved that, hey, this game at this level might not be too big for me. And yeah, he didn't win, but he played well that first game. Didn't show the rookie jitter. So it's going to give him some confidence coming into this game. And I think he's another one of those quarterbacks who's a little bit older, who was in college a lot longer. So he's not like he's 24 years old. He's not a 20-year-old rookie coming into this. This guy's seen some things in college. So this is going to be a tough matchup for the Steelers. It always is.
I think you have to show this kid I think you have to show this kid like a bunch of different looks. You have to overwhelm him. And here's the thing: they're coming back from a long trip, 3,500 or whatever it is miles across the world, and we got to sit home. We got to take the week off. We got to watch them. We got to, So we're again, in theory, they traveled. They just played. They're coming to Pittsburgh. It's at home. The fans, I know the fans are excited, Mike, because we still haven't won a game at Acrisure Stadium yet this year. So, I'm just kind of catching Cody's comment out of the corner of my eye. He said he's a year older than Herbig. Wow. Is that true?
Yeah, I think so.
Herbig's been in the league for like 3 years. But my thing is this, Mike, everything is pointing to us winning this football game. And that's what's scaring the shit out of me. And again, I'm excited. I can't wait till the game gets here. We're all waiting because we sat off a week with that 3-1 record. Everybody loses. You want to see how we're going to play next. You want to, see what the next step is. So I'm excited. I'm ready for this game, Mike. But again, I think that the Steelers, they have to throw tons of different looks at this guy. I think they have to bring tons of pressure. And, if you're going to be that team that, that rushes the quarterback more than anybody, this is the week to do it, because be it as it may, he's a rookie. And he's 40 years old, apparently. This kid, he's still a rookie. He doesn't know all the looks. He hasn't seen a whole lot in the NFL. Basically, all he's seen was one offense in Minnesota last week. So again, I say you have to give this guy tons of different looks. You have to let Herbig go and do his thing. And again, getting healthy. Let me cover that here real quick before we do move on. As it was stated yesterday in the Mike Tomlin press conference, Alex Highsmith, Jalen Warren, and Joey Porter Jr. will all be playing. They are at practice, working, ready to get ready for Cleveland this weekend, Mike. And also, this is the one that really caught my attention. The guys brought it up on the board yesterday, and we talked briefly about it. But Calvin Austin III and Jalen Ramsey, they have strongly been attacking their rehab, and neither one of them are ruled out for Sunday, Mike. I like that.
I like it too, because all the reports from other people you're getting, it sounds like these guys are going to be out long term. But then at the press conference yesterday, hey, there's a chance they can play.
Right. It went from long term. It went to a couple games, a few games to possibly maybe. Listen, this is why I don't think that they play. I think that we're going to be excited. I think whenever the Sunday report comes out before the game, it's probably going to be like, well, these two aren't playing. That's just my opinion. It could turn out otherwise. We could see these guys, but I just know the way Tomlin operates, and I've seen this many times. You get excited, and then he says, oh, he's not playing this week.
Yeah, something came up, something flared up.
Right. So I'm fine with that. I'm excited to get the other guys back. And again, Mike, for what we expected these two to be out, I think this is a rather short, especially if they play this week in a rather short time.
Yeah, and if they can, get through that game healthy too, that's the key. If they play, and that'll be a damn good time that they weren't rushed back. We can win this game without those two, but having those two here makes the task a whole hell of a lot easier. Both starters, both have made big plays this year when needed. So, and I'd love to have a full complement secondary out there for, that would be awesome. We would have our entire linebacking core and our entire secondary that we thought we would have at the start of the season. Now they're all healthy. I'd love to see what this defense can do, fully kitted out with every new little toy that we bought.
And Mike, I also think that you're seeing the fruits of what it was that the the general manager and the head coach and everybody did in the offseason. This depth is proving to be invaluable for the Steelers, because again, they really focused on depth this year. Depth. And they realize in the NFL you lose guys. Take a look around our division. Quarterbacks lost, down for the season, quarterbacks out for periods of time. And they really attack the depth this off season, Mike, and it's allowing us to keep our head above the water while we're dealing with injuries. And I think that goes a long way, because, again, you don't build this depth up that we have. Certainly in the defensive backfield, we could be in a lot of trouble. But, Mike, it seems like every time somebody goes down, there's somebody ready to step up and take the job. And, again, the depth, you can't really say enough about the depth they built this offseason.
No, especially like you said in the secondary, especially at safety, when guys started going down there like, oh God, what are we going to do? But picking Chuck Clark up late in training camp, he's made some plays. Jabril Peppers, after the second game, he's made plays. So good signings at the right time with the right players. It's been a key. Or it's been a theme of Andy Weidel and Omar Khan, is finding these free agents that are still out there, some of them under the radar, some you wouldn't think of, some you would, like Jabril Peppers, thought would never make it here in Pittsburgh because you thought someone else would pick them up. Right place, right time, get these guys, and good depth. Yeah, except for wide receiver too. But we got everywhere else, we got depth. And that's our blind spot. But I like what they're doing. And like you said, they can never have too much secondary depth in the NFL.
It's truly incredible that, as you said, I mean, they created depth at every position except for wide receiver too.
I don't know why this.
But you got to think to yourself, I mean, all things considered, they really didn't. They took no time building the tight end room, giving depth there. They took no time putting depth in the defensive back. No time building depth in the linebacker room. Like the depth on this team, it truly is. It's nice depth, except for that wide receiver too. And again, who knows why we're even at that position at this time. But I do want to get caught up on the board, Mike, because there is a lot of things going on the board.
There is.
A lot of things to go over today. We are going to go over more of what Mike Tomlin said yesterday at his press conference, and we're going to talk a little bit about some of these games coming up, guys. So let's get into it. Good morning, everybody. Good morning. Mark Malone, he says this. He says, your natural hair shouldn't bother you, man. I just grew mine out again for the first time in decades. Don't even feel it. The problem with that, Mark, is Mike don't have natural hair. I don't know if you realize what's going on.
Every little whisker on my face that's out of place, I feel it.
I got to be honest, who was it the other day, Mike? They said next time tell the barber not to take so much off the top. I don't remember who said that on the board.
Whoever said it, they're on the list. That's the only thing. I found
myself laughing about it afterwards after the show was over. I thought that was kind of funny.
It was good.
There you go, Mark. Let's see. Cody says he's predicting the Browns and Pittsburgh prediction 55-3. 55-3. And you know what? I'll certainly take that. We were no stranger to beating the Browns, Mike, certainly early on in the series as the expansion team came back. I think the very first game up there in Cleveland, it got away. It was 43-0, something like this, give or take.
Like that, 43, 45, and in that range, yeah.
So you know what? I would love nothing more, especially at home, to see it, especially after having a bye, especially after getting our rest, especially after getting healthy, especially after getting our home fans. And again, Mike, we haven't won at Acrisure Stadium yet. We did play one game there, and the loss was our only loss of the season to Seattle. Mm-hmm. So I think people are going to be loud. I think they're going to be excited. I think they're going to bring it, Mike. And again, just another reason why I think it goes in the Steelers' advantage. That's what's scaring the shit out of me. There's just something about this, the vibe. I'm looking at Cody here, and he's saying easy win, and I hope he's right. I would love nothing more than for this to be an easy win. But as stated earlier on the board, I think this. 007 said this could certainly be a trap game, Mike. And again, at all costs, you have to avoid losing this football game.
Yeah, you have to. And they can't go into it like Big Ben said, treat it as a bye week. You cannot. It's not a bad team up there. It's really not. You look at their roster. They got solid players, but, they're not a good team. But they're a team that they're probably going to end up winning like seven games this year, just on sheer will of that defense, the way Pittsburgh's defense tends to play, and they're going to find a way to win games as long as it's not this one. It's going to be a tough one, man. It's divisional game, man. It's going to be tough. They know us. We know them.
Do me a favor, Mike. Look up what Mike Tomlin's record is all time against the Browns if you haven't yet. Cody is asking what that is on the board. I'm sure it's very, very good. But again, guys, I don't know if I'm worried or it's just we've been sitting around too long. I'm hoping for a big Steeler win. That's what we're going to go with. Cody says anything could happen if you're the Carolina path. Penn State. Penn State.
Who said that? Who said that?
Don't worry. Don't you worry about who said that. You just
I'm going to scroll back through it. You're on the board. 27-9-1.
27-9-1 is Mike Tomlin's record against the Cleveland Browns. 27-9-1, and again, his home record is 18-1 versus the Browns. So, we are at home, so that plays to our advantage. I do want to say good morning to RB. RB says AFC North games always worry me. The entire league knows what Tomlin does. Teams from the NFC South or the AFC East mock our play calls. AFC North probably doesn't even prep anymore. You know what? Those are, again, always games that you have to worry about, guys. And again, this game here in 2 weeks, next week, actually, a week from tomorrow. Mike, this is, I tell you, I wanted Joey Browning or whatever the hell his name was, Jake Browning.
Right.
Listen, I'm not afraid of Joe Flacco, but I was just literally looking forward to playing the Browns and then playing Jake Browning. But
same here.
AFC North football.
Aaron Rodgers is 3-0 against the Brownies.
All right. Mark Malone says, as long as we're more steel curtain as opposed to Great Wall of transsexuals defending the run game, we should be all right. Good afternoon to Corey. Nice seeing you, my man. Always great seeing you on the board. Cody said he's a year older than Herbig. That's mind blowing to me, actually. Tortilla, what's up, my brother? Tortilla says, tell Gabriel he has to wash James Harrison's back if he wins. Hey, it made Boz the greatest kicker ever. Why not try it, right? Dylan, I'm sorry, Corey says, Cody says Dylan Gabriel looks like he wants a knuckle sandwich. And I got to be honest, guys, it's not out of the question. We could see Shedeur Sanders. I mean, let's just say we come in and, he is a rookie. Dylan Gabriel's a rookie. Say we give him some looks and he doesn't do well, or he gets yanked, or he gets injured. There's a good chance, guys, we could be seeing Shedeur Sanders, which, again, I don't know who's seen that happening this soon. But here it is. We are in that position. Again, the Browns coming. We are 4.5-point favorites for game 5 for us in week 6 this Sunday at home against the Brownies, guys. 007 says Porter coming back after being gone for 3 weeks. Alex is back too. We're also getting Jalen Warren back as well. So those 3 starters will be back in the lineup, and 00. We're hopeful. We're hopeful that we could be seeing the other guys, Mr. Jalen Ramsey and also Calvin Austin III, which I didn't think was possible until the press conference yesterday. Mike Tomlin did say that neither of them are rolled out. So they're both strongly attacking their rehab, and they have been while they've been off. So those are encouraging words. And I'm going to be honest, Mike, if they don't play, if they do take the extra week or whatever it is to get healthy, I'm fine with that. I want Ramsey back like right now. But I got to be honest, if he needs another week to heal, I'm cool with it, because we need Ramsey for the long haul.
Oh, yeah, that's what I was just about to say. The long haul, you can deal with that loss short term, but if you rush him back, and now that initial 4-week diagnosis goes to an additional couple weeks where he's out 6 to 8 weeks, you just kind of fucked yourself right there. We don't need that.
Real quick, I didn't mention this, Mike. This was a side note. I said the Pittsburgh Steelers are 18-1 at home against the Browns under Tomlin. Mm-hmm. The only loss was the playoff loss.
No shit.
The only time the Browns beat us at home was that playoff game that they beat us back in 2020. So
I blame I blame Marquise Pouncey and Big Ben Roethlisberger giving up that initial touchdown. Those fuckers, what did they ever win?
Weren't we down 28-0 in that game in the first quarter?
Oh, yeah, because I'm sure. We had the fumble for a touchdown. I think we gifted them another touchdown, and the defense said, just come on in, boys, house party, let's go.
Back when there was still a chance, things were finally turning around for that Browns team, and they shit it away.
I thought that was not going to be like, oh, God, they're going to run the division, but they're going to be a damn good team for a run. The AFC North is going to be a fun division, and no, they ship them out with the next year halfway through. Dumbasses.
It truly is unbelievable. Listen, they finished lower than the Steelers in the standings every year, with the exception of that year, all the way back to 1988. You finally beat the Steelers. You win a playoff game, and they get rid of Baker Mayfield. Again, this is why, I just kind of naturally think that we're going to beat the Browns. They're just stupid. They find ways to have things up constantly. But again, that's what also worries me. So Mark Malone, he says, can tall cornerbacks make it through a game healthy, though? I don't know. We're learning. Here's the thing. Tall cornerbacks have always been 5'10" in the NFL. Just over the past 5 to 7 years, I think you're starting to see a lot of these more tall, rangy guys. So we're still filling these guys out. I don't know what to expect in its entirety. But again, like the tall guys in the defensive backfield have roughly been 5'10" in the past. So again, this is uncharted territory. Especially we got two of these rangy, tall cornerbacks.
Yeah. So why can't they stay healthy? I hate it. Fuckers. Trade them all. No.
Tortilla says, is Will Howard ever going to get off IR? I know we don't technically need him, but I think it's good for his development to get him back and have 3 quarterbacks again. I would think so, Mike. I think within the next month, you're going to start seeing moves that are going to be the more permanent moves. You're going to get this IR figured out. You're also, with less than a month, Mike, I mean, we are on November 4th, I think that it is, 3rd, 4th, something around there. You do have the trade deadline. So all the speculation, are we going to get anybody? Are we going to trade anybody? Is this going to happen? I think all those answers start to get, all those questions start to get answered here over the next 28 days or so, give or take, Mike. And again, Will Howard coming off of IR, I don't know. Is that going to happen?
I'm going to assume yes. When, I do not know. Yeah, I assume it's going to happen at some point.
So, we got that. We're keeping an eye open. Also, Cody says when he's done with his rookie contract, he's going to be 30 years old. My God. Dylan Gabriel.
Yeah, Jesus.
Okay, that was Cody said that was him. That was him that said they took too much off the top at your haircut, and I couldn't agree more. Tortilla says we got 6'1" DBs and 5'9". Why? That's what I'm saying. Our corners are over 6 foot tall, and our wide receivers are the shortest wide receivers in the world. I never seen anything like this. Tortilla says somebody has dyslexia in the Steelers front office, and he follows it up by saying, "Who needs a wide receiver 2 when you have tight end 4?" Exactly. I mean, I wouldn't, could you imagine having a wide receiver instead of, again, tight end 4 being Connor Hayward? But he does great things on special teams, though. We won't ever consider losing him.
Tush push, baby. Tush push.
You know
baby?
what he did? Our successful tush push in last game. It was ran by Connor Hayward. So there we go. Why do we need a wide receiver 2 when we have Connor Hayward to run the tush push? What are we, stupid? Cody says they probably have the 3rd worst offensive line in the league. Shut down the run, make Gabriel beat you with the awkward left arm. And here's another thing. People talk about our offensive line. Remember, Mike, when we went to the Super Bowl? What was it in Super Bowl 40? They said we had one of the weaker offensive lines in the league that year. So, I know he's talking about the Browns offensive line, but I'm talking about ours for a second, and people just talk about our line, where they're at, the state that they're at right now. We did this before with not the greatest offensive line in the world.
No, but we also had a historically good defense and a quarterback in the prime of his career.
Oh, that's not what I'm talking about.
I'm talking
about the offensive line.
Those masks. They mask the deficiencies.
Well, we do have a good defense, and we also have a Hall of Fame quarterback. So maybe just some of those things might match up for us this year. Tortilla says Flacco will have limited time to learn the system. Yes, is better than Browning, but he won't be balling out either. At least I hope. And what also with that comment is the offensive line wasn't able to protect Burrow. The offensive line wasn't able to protect Browning. So, let's just hope that ends up being consistent and staying the case as Joe Flacco comes, because at 40 years old, Mike, this is going to be the oldest matchup of quarterbacks ever. Yeah. With Flacco being 40 and Aaron Rodgers being 41 at the time of the first meeting of these two teams. So, again, like us, Mike, it's not like he's going to be able to have the luxury of sitting back and picking out his receivers. Yes, he has amazing receivers to choose from and to throw to, but that offensive line just might be a little bit too much of an issue for them. Again, you've seen how many times Joe Burrow got hit in the preseason, Mike. In the preseason, they're letting this guy get hit. I can't imagine that it's going to improve that greatly for Joe Flacco in a couple weeks.
He's going to get turned, like I think I said yesterday on the show, he's going to get turned into dust. They're going to hit him. He's going to poof.
He might.
Poof. Oh, I have that. It was the 2008 Super Bowl. We had that shitty O-line.
Yeah, that's right. It wasn't the first one.
Max Starks, Chris Kimoyatu, Jeff Hartwig, Darnell Stapleton, and Willie Colon.
That's right.
That was a god-awful line.
Yeah, you ain't kidding, man.
Oh, God.
Cody said, damn, 3-0. Aaron Rodgers got this in a bag. New prediction, 73-14. Cody says, when we play Cincinnati, both those quarterbacks could get injured. You got to remember, guys, we only have the 4-day break tomorrow. Tomorrow will be a week from the next game. Of course, Cleveland this Sunday at 1 o'clock, and then Thursday night next week, the Steelers do play the Bengals. So little rest, Mike. But you know what? The Bengals got the same exact time period to rest and prepare as well.
That's true. And that short turnaround, the guys coming back off injury, how's their body going to respond in that short turnaround? If you rush them back and they're not healthy enough to play out the rest of the season. Do like that could set them back too, playing the game on the short rest. So a lot of things to consider with those injured guys if you want them for the long haul.
Good afternoon, Christophus. My man, always great seeing Christophus on the board. Christophus says we all have post-traumatic quarterback syndrome since number 7. Aaron Rodgers will not lose to the AFC North. There's no trap games with A-Rod under center. Yeah, you're right, Christophus. We do. And I said that so many times to people during Ben's tenure. I said, bro, there is going to be time after Ben. Life after Ben is actually going to be real. And we're going to have to deal with this. And as you're recognizing all the things that he does so naturally well, and you're watching his career play out, and I used to think, my God, there's going to be a time when somebody is our quarterback that don't know how to do this. There's going to be a time when somebody's our quarterback leading our team that don't know to look for this. And, we were Ben spoiled the shit out of us. Ben really did spoil the shit out of us. He didn't have the 4-0 Super Bowl record that Terry had, but number-wise, as far as a quarterback, he's top 10 in pretty much everything. One of the best quarterbacks in my lifetime, certainly. And again, Mike, very, very spoiled we became. And now it's like, going back to the drawing board and seeing guys that have to work on this, guys that have to fix that, guys that have to focus on this, where for almost 2 decades, that wasn't even a question. We had our guy. We had that guy.
Yeah, and our guy was the reward for suffering through a lot of shitty quarterback play from Terry Bradshaw all the way up through Big Ben. That gap from the end of Bradshaw to the beginning of Ben.
Come on, you didn't love the Jim Miller, you didn't love the Jim Miller era or the Mike Tomczak era? That didn't thrill you?
No, it did not. The Jim Miller era, like I remember that quarterback. Oh, it's going to be him or Cordell. I'm like, if you go with Jim Miller, you're fucking retarded. And he only lasted a half.
It was just one half of a game. And you know what? That quarterback controversy went on for months before that season started.
It did too. I'm like, I'm just sitting there. I just remember I forget what year it was, but being so young and going like, really? Is it a debate? Is anyone have watched these people play and you're debating over really? There was a clear-cut winner, and it was not Jim Miller.
It was the season right after we lost the Super Bowl because you remember Neil O'Donnell jumped ship, got the hell out of town, and we had to figure out if we were going to use backup Mike Tomczak / Cordell Stewart or the young Jim Miller. They went with Jim Miller. He made it one half of that Jacksonville game to start off the season. No longer than that. So I mean, we're in that process. If you ever look at the these people, they show you a big chart and they says you're right here. They point to one particular part of the chart. Now. This is where you are now, and that's where we're at, guys. Of course, the draft is coming here in April, where I think just slightly under 200 days left till that happens. It's going to be big time, biggest sporting event here in Pittsburgh history, which is going to be very fun, very interesting to say the least. So until that point, Mike, we have a future Hall of Fame quarterback leading the way for our Steelers. And again, Mike, we're sitting at 3-1 with, in my opinion, 2 very winnable games. You win these 2 games, you're sitting at 5-1, coming home to play 2 home games against pretty good teams. So you're sitting at 5-1. You have 2 teams coming to you. You have Green Bay coming to you, and you have Indianapolis coming to you. You really can't be sitting in a better position at 5-1 at that point, Mike, especially with the rest of the division playing the way that they are. And again, I think this is why a lot of people are anxious. They want our team back out there. They want to see what we got. They want to see if we're going to continue to win. They want to you don't want to sit around too long. You want your players to be ready to go. So all these things, Mike, I know that a lot of people that I'm talking to over these past couple of days, very, very anxious and excited to get back to the Steeler football this weekend.
Yeah, they are. And you win these 2 games, go 2-0 in the division, undefeated in the conference. You're sitting good for positioning not only in the division but also in the conference as well. That's huge.
Half game out of the number 1 seed. And this is considering that the Colts are 4-1. This is considering Jacksonville's 4-1. This is considering Buffalo's 4-1. Mike, a half a game out of the number 1 seed in the AFC. At this point, I understand there's a lot of football left.
Yeah.
But for what it is, it could be a lot worse, right?
Yeah, you want to position yourself early, but not peak early. That's the key. They don't want to peak early, kind of like we did last year. We were rolling into that 10-3 record, then it just all shit the bed. If you can get, one of the top 3 spots now, while still improving week to week, then you're hitting your stride in week 15, 16, 17, 18, going into the playoffs. That would be ideal right there. Ascending at the end instead of in the middle, the way we have been. So, yeah, but no, I'm liking the way where they are. Like I said, man, get these 2 wins, get the division, take a stranglehold on a division, but also position yourself within the conference. That's what a lot of people, we tend to forget about that. Not only, oh yeah, you got to win your division, but you also want to, have that good AFC conference record too, because that's one of the first tiebreakers when it goes down for seeding. After you win your division, what's your overall? There's a tie there, conference record. If we can go undefeated in the AFC, man, that'd be fucking huge.
And look at it this way. Let's just say we win these next 2 division games, which I think is big because, again, they're division games. If they win these next 2 weeks, you'll be 2-0 in the division. You'll be 2-0 in the AFC outside of the division with the wins over New England and New York. Mm-hmm. And then you have an NFC win, of course, with the Vikings. The only loss being that oddball NFC game against Seattle. Yeah. So, again, you win these next 2 games, you're in good position you're in good situation in a lot of ways, so many ways. And again, Mike, I forgot to throw this one out there. Let me blow a little bit more smoke up our asses here, Mike. Of course, I mentioned that Mike Tomlin is 18-1 at home versus the Browns. Here's one for you. It goes back even further than that. The Browns haven't won here in regular season in 21 straight games. It goes back before Mike Tomlin. Again, the only loss the Pittsburgh Steelers took to the Browns in that period of time was the playoff loss just about 5 years ago in 2020, I do believe. We all remember that game when they were up 28-0 in the first quarter. But 21 straight home games in regular season, the Pittsburgh Steelers beat the Browns. These kind of numbers worry me, Mike, because how long can that possibly go on? You have a team full of pros just like we have, albeit ours seems to be better. But, Mike, in the professional league of NFL, football, to not be able to beat a team in a stadium for 21 straight years, that's got to be a little worrisome, I think, in the back of our minds.
It should, because eventually it's gonna swing back the other way on you and bite you in the ass. Hopefully, it doesn't happen this year.
I just hope it's not
this year. Yep.
Getting back on the board, Mark Malone says, yeah, let Ramsey sit the next. Well, that's the thing. I feel that way too. If he needs to be out, by all means, let him heal, because we need Ramsey a lot more in the last 8 games than we need him in the next 2. I think that we could win these next 2 without Ramsey. And you know what? When we start playing Green Bay, Detroit, Indianapolis, Baltimore, Buffalo, I certainly want my Jalen Ramsey. I certainly want him back in the secondary, Mike, more than I do right now. Going into a Cleveland game and going into Cincinnati, these teams, Mike, they're getting desperate, and that's another thing. Early season desperation is the thing that concerns me as well. One of these teams got to be feeling a win coming at some point, unless they are just straight shit, which they might be. But all in all, in professional sports, these teams they want to win bad, Mike. They get that desperation. Mm-hmm. That's when things could happen for you, and you just make the game ugly enough, just make the game sloppy enough, and squeeze out a win like Steelers generally do to teams. They do it from time to time. That's the kind of things that worry me about Cleveland. I don't think they're going to come out and straight out beat us. I don't think they're going to do that. But I think if they keep it ugly and sloppy enough, like the snow globe game last year on Thursday, or whatever that was, they found a way to win that kind of game. And that's the kind of game that I'm concerned about, Mike. Even at home, you have to be on the back of your mind going into this Browns game. But again, Mike, the recent history it's on our side. It is on our side.
It's on our side. And, the Browns front office might be like, you know what? Season's kind of over. Let's see what we got. We lose some. We get some good draft picks. But, the players aren't thinking that. The players are, they want to go out there and win. And when they start hearing buzz that, the team and the front office is looking towards next year's roster, these guys are going to go out there and show, no, fuck you. I'm staying around. We're going to want to build something, and we're here to win. They're going to go out there and play for pride and try to whoop some ass, especially against a division foe. So a team that they consider a rival. I don't think the Browns, to me, I don't look at this as a rivalry game anymore.
Oh, I don't either. The Browns definitely think it's a rivalry.
The Browns, the whole organization, the players, coaches, they all see this as this is like one of their Super Bowls, man. It's the Steelers. It's the only game that matters on their schedule. It's probably like this in Baltimore, the ones that they get up for. And Myles Garrett definitely gets up for this one because it's him and TJ Watt. And they both want to show each other up. So that's why I think this game is going to be a lot harder than some people are thinking, man, because that means more to the Browns. To the Steelers, this is just another game on the schedule. Yes, it's
try to stack a win.
We got to go out there, take care of business. But for the Browns, it's so
season saving.
It's so much more for the Browns, and that's what makes.
And Mike, what kind of turnaround? Let's just say the Browns find a way to win this game. They could turn this into their turning point. This is the momentum shift that you needed to change from that early season, whatever that was they've been playing, to becoming a more successful team. So again, there are things on the board, guys. Am I over worrying? Are you guys as worried as much as I am? Again, the Steelers off a bye. Steelers getting healthy at home. The crowd, rookie quarterback they're facing. Are you guys, again, anxious? I want to get back at it, but again, there's still a part of me a little worried here, Mike. Richard says putting a 40-year-old Joe Flacco behind the O-line versus our defense is the NFL version of elder abuse.
You're not wrong, my friend. Not wrong.
Mark Malone says the Browns out coach Tomlin even without having a coach at the game. That game was really bad. Really bad. What's good, Vegas? Always great seeing you on the board. He says, you know what, Mel is still the best tall cornerback. Mel Blount obviously was a taller corner, Mike, and
he's the reason why can't touch a defensive or touch a wide receiver now. He ruined it for these guys now.
For sure, man.
And even after they changed the rules, he had some of his better seasons. So it was just comical.
Absolutely. Let me see. I kind of lost my spot. I'm working my way back. Yes, Corey Trice. Corey Trice is coming back also. Again, I don't know to what extent that's going to help because, but Mike, when he plays, he's rangy. And that's the one word I always have to use. I don't think he covers great. I don't think he tackles great. But you have that extra long wingspan, and you know what? Sometimes that turns into an interception. Yeah. So again, I liked Corey Trice early. You know that. Of course, the injuries have certainly set him back in his career. But it's nice to have as much depth as you can, and having guys back healthy, that goes. It does
too, and I like the way Brandon Eccles has been playing, so that's nice. He's doing well, but hey, the less James Pierre we have, even though highest graded Steeler according to the PFF last week or 2 weeks ago, but I'd still rather have Corey Trice out there than James Pierre.
And you know what? I'm not as uncomfortable with James Pierre being out there at this point again. And the guy's been here for how many years now. He's been a backup DB on this in his secondary. That's why I'm starting to feel a little bit more comfortable with him. I understand his skills aren't up to what these other guys are, but for what he is, I mean, the depth corner. He is what he is. And the fact of the matter is, he does know this defense. He does know the guys. So I'm starting to get a little bit more comfortable with James Pierre, not in a sense where I'm comfortable with him, but a little bit more comfortable than I have been in the past. So. Corey says we need to use Mount Washington as a fullback at the 1 yard line, talking about cheating. Have him on a tush push. Like somebody said on the board yesterday, just fall forward. There's no way you can't
just
score.
Have him grab Calvin Austin, hike the ball to Calvin Austin, just have Washington throw him over the line.
Yeah.
Fuck it.
And then people will be complaining.
Like you pick him up like the football and throw him and have DK Metcalf catch him. We're thinking outside the box.
And they'll say, well, what are you doing having him? What are you having him do the tush push for? He's a tight end. This whole bullshit. Don't let him play tackle, even if it's for a play. He's a tight end. But there you go, guys. It would be interesting and funny. Vegas says this. He says, after Super Bowl 43, Ben asked, who is laughing now? O-line. You know what? One of the most amazing ends of a Super Bowl ever, in my opinion.
And they started it off with a particular game.
Yes, they did.
Right on brand for that unit.
007 says Corey Trice is also coming back. Cody says I'd rather face Flacco or Browning than Jameis Winston. Yeah.
That's the one who I would have won after if I was Cincinnati.
Yeah. Can you imagine just the desperation they feel?
Oh God. Like I much like with Jamar Chase and Higgins and that O line, Jameis is a little bit more mobile at this stage of his career than Joe Flacco.
A little.
I was trying to be nice to the old man.
Let's see. Mark Malone says I had a good run. He says Brister wasn't. He wasn't. He wasn't terrible. He was pretty bad, but he wasn't terrible, I guess. Mark Malone, and that's what he's saying. I had a good run as well.
That wind coming in off the lake coming off the lake, talking about Pittsburgh. Dumbass. Yeah.
Cody says, "Remember that time AB kicked that Browns punter in the face?" Absolutely,
it's one of my favorite plays of all time.
Tortilla says the Bengals Steeler game will be known as the Bingo Bowl. Mark Malone says, I think quarterbacks are going to suck the Peaches. Wait a minute. I think the quarterbacks are going to suck the Peaches strap on next draft. You know what? I think I'm going to pull up the list of quarterbacks later on in the show, Mike. We're going to talk about what some of these top quarterbacks in college are looking like at this point. Of course, we'll be certainly looking at them here once we get closer to the draft. Mark Malone is saying 13-4. Merlin, what's up? Merlin Ames, great seeing you back on the board. My friend Merlin says, show improvement each week, and that's what we got to do. That's what everybody realizes this isn't a great 3-1 football team right now. I think that, again, we're one bad game away from everybody just totally freaking out. If we go out and shit the bed this week and lose to the Browns, I mean, the Steeler collective, it's going to be very interesting to see what, the direction that they take after that, Mike. So again, we are 3-1. Yes. We beat the Jets, who haven't won a football game yet. We beat a Viking team that didn't look anywhere as good as they were last year, and a New England team we beat by 3 points after making them turn the ball over 5 times. So there's certainly area for improvement. I think a lot of people were expecting, it's early. There's a lot of football to be played. The Steelers are going to find a way to lose games this year, as well as find ways to win games. But I think you're right, Merlin. Every week you have to show a little improvement. And that's, Mike, I think that's what they've done to this point. Defensive-wise, offensive line-wise, not great, playing better. But if they continue moving in the right direction, I think we can start looking good, come January, whenever those really meaningful games come around.
And, they're, like you said, it's little improvements, and you're not seeing, like, especially in the O-line, like the same mistakes over and over. Like Broderick Jones, he's starting to settle down over there. Part of it, they're getting the ball out quick. And that's going to be interesting to see if we can do that this week, because Cleveland's one of the few teams in the league that plays a lot of one high safety, not the 2 high safety. I like to keep a guy down, make teams play, out of a stacked box for the run game and the pass game. So it's going to be interesting to see how that works. But so far, we've seen big improvements from week 1. Definitely big improvements since that Seattle game too.
Absolutely. I remember the loss. There was a lot of missed tackles. There was a lot of sloppy, just undisciplined play. So, as I said, again, Mike, we lead the league. We have the least amount of penalties. That's a good sign of discipline. But a few of those small things like that are happening in our favor. So, as Merlin's saying on the board, it's just something that's going to be a process the whole season long. We're going to have to improve, and I guess that's the name of the game, because if everybody went into the playoffs as they are in week 1. You'd probably have a bit of a disaster. Mm-hmm. So you have 32 teams, Mike, trying to get better every season to fight for that hardware that everybody wants at the end of the year.
And real quick,
Cody says,
I'm sorry, I was going to piggyback on that tackling. We were one of the worst tackling teams this year. Last year, we were like the best tackling team in the NFL. And I think definitely against Minnesota, it looks like we were getting back onto that trend of being one of the better tackling teams.
And that's what I hope we see this week. Again, I hope we still see that trend. Yeah. I don't want to come out flat. I don't want to come out and, I want to continue to see that trend of the improvement out of pretty much everybody. Cody says, can't hit your peak too early like Penn State. We
haven't peaked yet, Cody. We haven't peaked yet. There's still, we can play worse.
You know what really makes me laugh about Penn State? They thought they had it all figured out. They were like, we're starting number 2. We're not going to schedule anybody at the beginning of the year. We'll get these big wins, and then we'll go through our regular season. And let's say we lose at one of them big teams. We're going to be sitting there at 11-1, sitting pretty, go to the playoffs. They had it all figured out.
All we had to do was keep it close against Ohio State, handle business with everyone else, and we'll
Instead, they lose to a team that hasn't had a win yet.
Hey,
a top 10 team, my first team in 40 years. Penn State.
We saw how, UCLA was struggling. They were down on their luck, and we were like, we will uplift.
They suck.
Fuck yeah, we do. Well, I like how we were ranked number 2.
Well, not you, UCLA. Listen,
I'm talking about my own team. My own team sucks. Like how we were ranked number 2.
I should be saying that, Mike, but Mike, they're 0-4.
Hey,
they were 0-4.
They were struggling.
So that I think
we dug down deep with that. What would our Lord and Savior do?
If you were struggling, what are they doing at 0-4?
We lifted them up.
Penn State, they thought they had it all figured out. And that's the funniest part of this whole thing. We're going to schedule the bullshittingest team at the beginning of the year, and sitting at number 2. Even if we drop to around 10, and we lose that close game to Ohio. They had it all figured out, and this is why this is the best thing that happened to me my whole life.
The schedule was made like 5 years in advance. It was just luck. It was just luck.
Oh, it's consistent with all the other years.
Oh hell yeah, it is. We saw what Ohio State did, and like we're doing the same thing. Cupcakes, and then into a good game. But
listen, who did Ohio State play? They were playing tough games at the beginning of this year. Pull up their schedule.
Texas, and Texas is unranked now. Texas sucks.
Texas who? Well, hey, listen, you don't got room to talk, but Texas was number 1.
See, look, I do have room to talk because they were ranked above us, and now they're right down the bottom with us.
Oh, no, because who cares? For one, nobody cares about Penn State. For two, even less people care about Texas. But what I'm saying was they scheduled to play a number 1 team. That's who they played. They scheduled a number 1 team. But anyway, let's get back on the board, Mike. I don't want to leave anybody out here on this wonderful hump day.
We can leave Cody out.
007 says Jalen Ramsey's injury is much worse than first reported. He tore the hammy. See, that I'm losing my mind with this 00 because that was my report yesterday. That his tear, it was a tear in the hammy, which was similar to Joey Porter Jr. So the initial report comes out and says that expect them to be out a few games. He has the same injury as GPJ. Yesterday, Mike Tomlin at the press conference says he's not ruling out either Jalen Ramsey or Calvin Austin III. I mean, whether he's playing his Tomlin games or whatever, if he's not, he also says that they have been strongly attacking rehab, both of those players, and he's not ruling them out. So I don't know what to expect. I got to be honest with you, from all the controversy and all the different opinions, it feels to me that he's not going to play this week. Just because if he was, I think it would be a bigger deal, and a possibility of him playing would be a bigger deal. And as I said, don't rush Ramsey back. You have the depth in your secondary, and we've made it this long, Mike, without Porter. So if you switch one guy out with another starter, in theory, it should be okay. So again, I don't know 007. I'm just trying to figure this out like everybody else is. Again, bad injury. Mike Tomlin, not as bad as everyone thought. The rehab's going good. He could play. He's not ruling him out, is what he said. And then also now, again, I'm also seeing with the tear, and if Joey Porter Jr. was out a month, I don't know.
I think this is.
I don't know.
They're going to be out there practicing, and we don't have to list them as out on the injury report yet to make Cleveland prepare as if Jalen Ramsey is going to be out there. Little gamesmanship with the injury report.
Ormelin says we don't need to draft a quarterback next year. Draft wide receivers and go. Why would they draft a wide receiver? I'm convinced that they're just not ever going to carry a wide receiver too ever.
We're going heavy. We're drafting tackles, D linemen, and 290 to 300 pound tight ends. That's what we're doing. We're going heavy.
Yeah, we need more tight ends.
Yes, we do.
It's like the more cowbell.
Exactly.
Somebody should make an AI "Don't Fear the Reaper" Steeler video, and instead of more cowbell, it should be more tight ends. And they just continue putting tight ends into the video, and I think something like that could be funny. Cody says 21 straight. Someone on that team might get struck by lightning during the game. Yeah, you ain't shitting, man. Come on, that's unheard of. I don't know what Brady was doing to the Jets, the Dolphins, and the Bills all those years, but come on, 21 straight years of not being able to beat the Steelers at home. I mean, it's freakish. I mean, just the law of average, Mike, by professional athletes playing against professional athletes, at some point, the other team should have won it at some point, right?
You would think, but I remember at one point the Penguins didn't win at Philadelphia for like a 20-year stretch. It was something I might have been even longer than that. It happens. There's just certain buildings, certain stadiums you go into, and you just get that up here, man. That mental block gets you, and it fucks with you. Hopefully it keeps holding true for this Browns team.
Tortilla says that mark depends on how the board falls. Cody says, sorry, Browns no snow or 100-mile-per-hour winds on Sunday. What was it the one year we started out that year with the Browns? Didn't we tie them? We played them early the one year. We had a tie against the Browns. So that, those kind of reasons are those are the things that freak me out. The tie, the snow globe game. But again, you have none of them things. The weather's rather nice. They are just making the trek back. We had the week off. We were resting. We got healthy. Again, Mike, the record, the history, the fans are there. Everything points to us winning. So let's hope that those things all carry. Mark Malone says I'd roll with Howard and Magnum. Cody says worrying too much. Easy win, no doubt. You know what? I'm hoping you're right, Cody. I really am. And you know what? I trust you. I trust Cody, so I'm going to believe that we're going to win. But again, guys, some of those things are sitting in the back of my mind. Again, pro athletes against pro athletes for 21 straight years can't win at a one particular facility. That's a bit worrisome. Again, just the law of average to me, guys, is just poking at me. Just poking. Tortilla says, depending on how the board falls, I'd be fine taking a wide receiver or another left tackle and rolling with Howard, Rudolph, and Thompson. But if we can get into a position to get a good quarterback, I don't see why not. And mind you, guys, these Ravens, they are sitting in the number 3 spot right now. If the draft was today in Pittsburgh, the Ravens would be drafting 3 overall. So, again, that just kind of shows you how poorly they're playing. Tortilla is a good quarterback, is a game changer. Absolutely, man. You need that guy. If you're going to be in it every year in, year out, like Buffalo is, like Philly is, like Kansas City, you got to have your guy. You got to have your guy. These are the teams that are constantly considered to be contenders, and until you have your guy under center, you're not going to be considered that every year, and it's just where we're at. Again, you are here.
You are
right.
Exactly. You are here.
Cody says, I'm pretty sure Mike Tomlin always loses Thursday Night Football, and guess who we play on Thursday? The Browns. That's the only time they can beat us. We're going to go kill them on Sunday, 87. I like how Cody's scores keep getting deeper and deeper every time he talks about a score. It was 73 something last time. Before that, it wasn't quite as much. But by the end of the show, we're going to have about 600 points against Cleveland this weekend. RB says, I always wondered if the rugby lift was illegal in the NFL. It would be something to look into with Washington. Hey, you know what? They didn't do the tush push for a million years, and they found out there's nothing wrong with it. So, all you can do is try shit.
Okay. Mike Tomlin's Thursday night records: 6 wins, 2 losses at home, but 2-8 on the road. So we got the Bengals at home, I believe. So we're
on the road. Cleveland, Green Bay, and Indy out. The next 3 out of 4 are at home. That game is the one that's on the road next Thursday night against Cincinnati.
Oh, then we're fucked then.
Well, it's Cincinnati though, so stop it.
But they got Joe Flacco.
Stop worrying. Yeah. RB says, do we start to consider Burrow a bust? He's great when he's healthy, but missed 2 full seasons now in many games. That's the thing. I mean, the guy early in his career took the Bengals to the Super Bowl. So that's what I mean, RB. That's a very good question. Is he a bust or is he not a bust? Is this dude going to be able to stay healthy? Andrew Luck was similar. He didn't take his team to the Super Bowl early, but Andrew Luck was pretty successful early on, and then he walked away from the game, retiring, obviously. But I'm kind of feeling that with Joe Burrow. Without I don't think he's going to retire, but still, I don't know which way this is going to go. He obviously has mad skills. Yeah. He's obviously a really good quarterback. But his health is going to be what dictates what his career turns out to be.
I don't want to say bust. I want to say unfulfilled, unrealized, because like you said, when he's healthy, it's one of the best in the league. But it's like every other year he's been hurt. So yeah, he doesn't have the best availability. So yeah, and he's your franchise guy. You build everything around him. I don't want to say bust, but I want to say not fulfilled, not what you expected. You know,
Mike, could this really be anybody, though? I mean, the fact of the matter is, it is happening to Burrow. He is having these bad injuries. But, I mean, it literally could
it
be
could
anybody.
be.
Had Patrick Mahomes, Mike, had he dealt with serious injuries in his first couple seasons, we'd be saying, is Patrick Mahomes a bust?
Yeah.
I mean, Jalen Hurts, a lot of these different guys, and even, Josh Allen, Josh
Yeah.
Allen, he manages to stay healthy enough. And, that could very well be the case with Allen as well. If he was dealing with injuries early on in his career, the way that Burrow is, we would be having these same conversations, Mike. So maybe he is a bust. Maybe, this is what you're going to get with Joe Burrow. And unfortunately for Cincinnati, that could be the case. When he plays, he's healthy. He got him there. But more times than not, Mike, he hasn't been healthy. So he hasn't been getting them there. We might be getting a little bit close to being able to call him a bust. Talent-wise, no. But just overall, he might be.
Yeah. You guys are talking me into it.
You got to be able to play the game at the end of the day. You got to be able to do your job. And if you're not there to do the job, you can't be great. It would make you lean more toward the case of being a bust, I would think.
Yeah.
Damn. Corey on the board. Corey says, I got it. Washington at quarterback. Direct snap to Calvin Austin III. Washington grabs Calvin Austin III, throws him to DK in the back of the end zone. DK spikes Calvin Austin III in celebration. That's two wide receivers with a half a touchdown apiece. Maybe he could throw him. And remember the old Tom and Jerry's, when Tom would be chasing Jerry and he would go down through the gutter and he would go up the side of the house and Tom would chase through the gutter and his head would be sticking out the bottom, but his ass end would be sticking up the back. That's what that was starting to feel like to me. It felt like that those old episodes of cartoons where he was going with that. Let's see, RB says, everyone keeps talking about the top quarterbacks in the class, but we've had our scouts at 4 games watching Oklahoma's John Mateer now this season, who fits the Weidl mold. Not a first rounder, but mobile as hell. Also, the guy down in Levitt, is that his name, Mike, down in Arizona State? I know that we've been down there. Weedle was down there twice already.
And speaking of Meter, I way too early mock drafts. I've seen him mock to us in the low first round.
All right. I don't want to miss Cody. Cody says, consider Burrow, Andrew Luck. That's exactly. That's, who knows what Luck could have did if he stuck around.
I was never a big Andrew Luck fan. I probably didn't watch him a whole lot. I heard how great he was, but every time I watched him, he seemed to have a bad game. So I could have just been the bad luck charm. But bad luck charm for him. And I was never overly impressed with Andrew Luck.
It was probably your ingrown hair.
Probably. And he looks like a less dumbed down version of Alexander Ovechkin.
Okay. RB says he's hurt much with a much bigger arm. He's hurts with a much bigger arm. Gotcha. Okay. Tortilla says this. He says, I think the Bengals in general are a bust. Burrow has proven when healthy is top 3. If he went to a good franchise, he wouldn't be hurt as much. You know what? You might be right. He might be one of the greatest. He might be he might be the Patrick Mahomes. If he didn't land in Cincinnati, you know what? Somebody that just sucks. That's sometimes, Mike, it's the way the ball bounces. Guys end up in these terrible organizations. It F's up their career and they don't make it out. And so far, this is looking to be the case. As I said, Mike, Cincinnati Bengals, after decades and decades, managed to work their way into a Super Bowl. The Bengals. So again, he obviously has it enough to take a team like the Bengals back to the promised land. But Mike, again, availability. You know what? We're not available to play in the NFL, and we're never going to win a Super Bowl. It looks like Joe Burrow might be right there with us, Mike. Us meaning us sitting here in the studio, not even football players. You got to be available. You got to be able to do your job, and that's just not happening with him. So, unfortunately, Mike, a lot of these statements could be true, depending which way things go for him. And so far, it's not looking fantastic, which is good for us.
Oh, hell yeah, it is. Because when the Bengals snagged him with that first pick, I'm like, oh, fuck. We're screwed.
Yeah, I remember watching him in college just thinking, gee whiz.
Oh, God.
John says, Steelers' past performances keep me in the show me state. They haven't proved anything to me. John, I basically, that's the way I think. You're right. But whenever I try to branch out a little bit, I do look at the improvements over the first couple of weeks. I do look at the difference between this team and the team for the last couple of years. I do look at, we are getting a little bit better every week. I do look at the rest of the league not being that fantastic this year. And I say, you know what? We're just kind of in the middle of this as much as everybody else. And, um, again, nobody's really wowing me. Buffalo's going to win a lot of football games, Mike. They're going to win. They're not going to lose a lot. So they worry me just because they're going to win a lot, and they're Buffalo. I think that the AFC South, with both Jacksonville and the Colts, are both sitting at 4-1. And then also that AFC West, I think it's going to be a challenge. So, I mean, you have those three teams over there battling it out, the Chargers, the Broncos, and the Chiefs. So, again, who knows what's going to happen this year? It's a little off, Mike. I think everybody could say that this season's just been a little off.
Yeah, it's the AFC right now is wide open. Wide the fuck open. And like you said, no one's really looked top to bottom like a lockdown. Okay, yeah, they're definitely going to win. Buffalo has a chance because they have Josh Allen, but defense isn't what it once was up there. The supporting cast he has isn't what it once was up there. We'll see how far he can take them.
And like I said, Mike, they're not going to lose a lot of football games. I'm telling you, they're just they're one of the better football teams in the AFC. There's no two ways about it. Say what you will about their defense, this and that. Look around the AFC; they are one of the better teams, and they're not going to lose a lot of football games. So again, Mike, a lot of things can happen. Again, only week 6 out of 18, 1/3 of the season will be played when the games wrap up for the this week, guys. So 1/3 of the way through. RB says Penn State is probably out of the playoffs now unless they beat Ohio State. They are done. More than likely, but I don't know. What do you think, Mike? They out of this playoffs?
Oh, fuck yeah. We're not bouncing back. We're losing. We're going to lose to Ohio State, and I guarantee you we're going to lose to someone else too. Wouldn't surprise me if you lose to Northwestern this week.
The Wildcats, baby, coming to town.
I get more emotionally invested with Penn State than I do with the Steelers.
I don't.
I've always been this way, man.
It makes me crazy.
It drives me fucking nuts. It drives me nuts too, brother.
Yeah, I just don't. I don't.
They should have fucking thrown the death penalty at us, so I didn't have to go through this fucking emotional breakdown every fucking year.
And I think it's because Pitt's never good, is why I don't understand this attachment. But
yeah, like if Pitt was my college team, I'd feel the same way too. I didn't mean that as a knock, obviously, but like the level of success.
It's not a knock because we actually have a lot more success in a lot of ways than Penn State does. So I don't ever look at them as being superior. But no, we have more people in the Hall of Fame and more people in a lot of things that are better than Penn State, and even the Penn State recent success. Again, it's getting kind of monotonous.
We beat you the last time we played. That's all I know, brother.
Barely, and
win
we
is
also
a win.
beat Yinzers the last time we played. And that is exactly why Penn State doesn't play us right there. But we have to move on, guys. Also, Tortilla says at RB, this is not a first round. This RB is not a first rounder now, but the closer we get to the draft, quarterbacks skyrocket up the board every time and get picked higher and than their ADP every year. Kenneth, what's up, brother? Always great seeing Kenneth on the board, my man. Hope everything's going well for you on this hump day. Getting ready for the Brownies. RB says I'm 20 minutes away from Pedophilia Supporters University, where they all still today call for the statue of Ghislaine Maxwell. I think that's who, Epstein's woman. Joe Paterno, to be put back. I'll never support that place again. Let's see. Christopher says if Calvin Austin III can't go this game, we'll show them how bad they need a true wide receiver too. They have been stubborn for 2 years to fill this clear position of need. And you know what, Christopher? Everyone tells me this because I feel the same way. How can you not fill a position? But then they say, well, we have all these tight ends, and we have Arthur Smith's offense, and we have this, and we have Ben Skoranek, and we have Miller. I'm tired of hearing that garbage. Just get a wide receiver too, like a normal team. But we don't have the offense to our offense. Bro, just listen. If you have another wide receiver too, if you have somebody across the field from DK Metcalf, it automatically changed things already. The fact that you don't have to really focus on any of these other guys, why would you want to have yourself in a position where you could take people away from other positions and have to focus elsewhere? Everybody knows DK's your big dog now. And we could hope that Ben Skoranek comes up and carries the weight. We could hope that Scotty Miller does the same. We could hope that somebody even throws the ball at Roman Wilson. Just get a wide receiver. What's the problem? What's the problem? Oh boy. It's only been a couple seasons. I mean, it isn't like we're being out of hand here. Cody says, has anyone actually said he tore a hammy? Reports from Pittsburgh, Ray Fittipaldo said it was a tear similar to the one that Joey Porter Jr. endured. As far as anything that I heard from, again, Mike Tomlin yesterday saying that he's working hard on the rehab and he's not ruling him out. But the early calls were that it was a tear similar to Joey Porter Jr.'s is what I heard.
Yeah, that's everything I've read too.
Has that changed, Mike? Is that accurate?
Yeah. Last I read, that was the same reporting that I read as well. I haven't seen anything new.
Okay. John says teams want their opponents to have a plan for players regardless if they could play. Bullshitting is part of the game. Mike is correct. 1 year, I'd actually be impressed. Good job. You know what they always the clowns to me. But you know when they really became a joke raid for being 0-16. I mean,
I forgot when the fans threw that shit.
You know what I mean?
Was great. Yeah.
So I don't know. I can never take them serious. Can never take the Browns serious. I just never have. And again, that parade was enough for me. Let's move on. And the board, I am going to get into a couple more things said in the press conference yesterday. Let me grab a couple more of these comments. Corey says Mahomes stays on the injury report with a knee and ankle issues weekly because he walks like he's wearing high heels. Little sissy ass. Yes. Patrick Mahomes, when he runs, Mike, what's he look like?
Running like a toddler with a diaper full of shit.
He looks like he has those childbearing hips, too. He looks like a pregnant woman trying to get to the hospital is what he looks like when he's running to me. Just shuffling down the field somehow. He manages to get to work. John says, I've adjusted expectations because the Steelers have to find the quarterback and develop him. This is a 50-50 shot, and each try is a minimum of 3 years off the calendar. Hey, Mike, I can't argue there. We've seen the Kenny Pickett experiment play out.
Mm-hmm.
Tortilla says Burrow's injuries have both been because of his offensive line stinks. He has crazy good footwork because he has to run for his life. He isn't a bust because his offensive line sucks. He needs out of Cincinnati. He should just come to Pittsburgh, Mike. Just bring him here.
Come to Pittsburgh. I'll take him. Roman Wilson for Joe Burrow.
Hey, we might even have an extra tight end we could throw in there for you. 007 says with Jalen Warren coming back and Kenneth Gainwell doing so well last game, who will be the feature back going forward? It's going to be split. It's going to be by committee, I think. I don't think either one is going to be the feature. I think that Jalen's going to get the start because he was initially the starter, and I think they're going to use them both and hopefully effectively, Mike, and you're going to see a fair share of both Gainwell and Jalen Warren, just like you've seen last year and the year before with Najee and Warren.
Yeah, and I think whoever has the hot hand at the moment will be the guy.
Absolutely.
And depending on, we saw games where Jalen would start off hot, but then he'd cool off, and then boom, Najee would go in and just play the rest of the game and dominate. And then we'd see it the other way around too. Najee would start off slow, wouldn't get anything going, boom, Jalen Warren comes in. I think that's how they're going to do it from now on. And I think that's how they should do it.
You're watching Jalen. The guy runs so hard. You want him out there. But then on the other hand, you see Kenneth Gainwell. He was kind of looking like Le'Veon Bell, like in its own capacity last week, putting up 99 yards in that football game against the Minnesota defense. So I think it's going to be by committee, guys. I think that it's, as Mike said, it's going to be with whoever has the hot hand is going to get more carries. And I can't say that I disagree with that. I think at this point, that's probably the best way to go.
And the Browns have the best rushing defense in the NFL.
Yeah, so that's why also I think
yards. You gotta use whatever guy's going to get you anything going. You got to use.
John says the Bengals made Burrow injury prone with a bad O-line. O-line decisions and draft picks. He has exceptional football IQ and talent. Football is a team sport, not an individual one where only one can rely on himself for success. Vegas says if Josh goes down, they're done. You know what? When the hell is that guy going to get hurt up there in Buffalo, Mike? I've been waiting for Josh Allen to go down for a couple seasons. He seems to be invincible.
Right. The way that he runs, he should be hurt way more than he is.
Exactly.
It's insane.
Yeah, this
it's
guy
insane.
he's John says, Team Swart, remember that next time when they draft the next quarterback. Mark Malone says, A-Rod only has time to look at one guy anyway. And you know what? If it wasn't for that quick delivery, I mean, we even be where we're at right now at 3-1. Because just think if Mason has to step in and play, is he going to be prepared, Mike? Is he going to be as prepared to get that quick throw off like Aaron Rodgers can do? You know, so those kind of things will definitely worry you.
Yeah, because I know, like Mason loves to take the deep shot. So would he sit there and wait for it to develop and instead of hitting the quick underneath route? Yeah.
Tortilla saying, who's Roman Wilson? Good question. Cody says, so the hammy is confirmed because Kabuli said we were going to get a receiver in 2 weeks 5 years ago. I don't trust these reporters. There's certain reporters that I do trust more than others, and I don't really trust him all that much. But Fittipaldo does seem to be kind of close sometimes. And again, to say that it was a tear similar to JPJ, and the fact that he never came and said that it wasn't after the fact made me, believe him. But again, if he has a chance, guys, if he has a chance to play this week, they're saying that he's not ruled out. So do what you want with that. Cody says a baby with a full diaper running. I don't know why, but Kyler Murray comes to mind.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah. Estad says Caleb should still get some reps. He will find his style. And at this point, I'm pulling for the guy. Here we are, week 6, and basically all he's done was effed up a kickoff and in a game that we lost. So I would like to see Caleb also be a little bit more involved in the offense this week, Mike. Again, you're going to have to run the ball a lot against this Cleveland team. If you're expecting to get any running yards, I think that they're going to try to, if you use play action, if they could keep the defensive line off their ass long enough, or, make some plays down the field, or even on some of them quick hitches, I think we can certainly move the ball and be productive. But again, you're going to want to try to run the ball too, to keep it even, to keep them honest and keep them on their heels. And again, I think maybe Caleb will probably get roughly right around the same amount of carries he's been getting. Like any different opinion on that?
Probably not. No. Now with the short week, I can see him against the Bengals getting more carries that week.
Yeah.
Just because it's the short week and you're going to need the fresher guys.
Estad also says, and I do want to say welcome to the show, Estad. Always great seeing you on the terrible board. He says the Browns D has me worried. Garrett will be hunting for AR. Yeah, absolutely, man. And unfortunately, unfortunately for us, that is the only thing really going for them is that defense, Mike. So again, it's going to be an AFC North game. I don't think this is going to be any different than any of the other Steelers Browns games. Luckily, we win a lot of those, so hopefully the results are the same as well. Mark Malone says we've got to deploy the big Johnson. Absolutely. You know what? He's got to get, But we also, who's the other running back we have, Mike?
Is it Trey Sermon?
Sermon, yeah. So I do think you're going to see your fair share of running backs, especially with Warren coming back, especially with Gainwell having the game that he had last time. Again, 1 yard short of 100. So I think you'll definitely see running backs by committee this week. Cody says Mike Tomlin on Sunday, 186 wins, 108 losses. Game prediction 103-6. He's getting up there, Mike. I predicted him to be right around 600 points by the time the show is over.
He's already up inching closer.
Inching closer. Corey says this: Kyler Murray reminds me of my 3-year-old when I try to grab him to put him in timeout. No tissue in that knee, just rubber legging it around corners and shit. Absolutely. You know what? He's kind of turned out. I like them whenever a corner's healthy and they actually look like a good team. But once they start getting injuries, Arizona begins to look like crap as usual.
And Kyler's limited by his height too. He's one of those guys. He has to get outside the pocket to make plays. If you're just sitting there watching football to watch a guy sling the ball around and play backyard football, he's not bad to watch. But I would not want him to be the quarterback of my team.
No. Here's some things, guys. Here's some scoop for the week. Derek Harmon, he might have inside info on Dylan Gabriel. Of course, these two gentlemen, they spent time at college together as being not roommates, but teammates.
Yep.
and also being a defensive lineman, squaring off against your offense every day at practice, Mike. So we always talk about that, guys sharing information that they do have. So maybe, Mike, that could give us a little bit of an edge on the rookie quarterback, and maybe Tomlin's teams can continue their success, of course, going 26-6 against rookies.
Not bad right there. And I hopefully this is kind of like when Troy went up against Carson Palmer. I want to see Derek Harmon get to Dylan Gabriel a couple times. Just get him down on the ground, get about 2 sacks. Maybe tip a pass at the line that gets picked off. I want Harmon to have a good game against his former teammate.
Mike, let me ask you this. If Dylan Gabriel starts and gets hurt or gets yanked and Shedeur Sanders plays in the second half, is that 2 wins against rookie quarterbacks for Tomlin, or is that still just 1?
I think this still just counts as 1. It should count as 2. Should count as 2.
Which rookie did he beat? Which rookie did he beat? Exactly.
Yeah.
He beat 2 rookies, if that be the case.
Yeah.
So, we will see about that. Also, these are some things, Mike, that was said by Coach Tomlin yesterday at the press conference about our offense and other things. Mike Tomlin says this. When asked about Myles Garrett, of course, he's just brought up on the board. He's there's no surprise. He's going to be chasing Aaron Rodgers all over the place. Mike Tomlin says when they were asking about, are they concerned about the offensive line blocking Myles Garrett, he says, I'm not worried. He says, Broderick Jones is not a dummy. He knows who we're going to be facing, and he's going to be prepared. Mike, is it concerning to you that he says that Broderick Jones is not a dummy?
Yeah, I read that quote too. I'm like, in that context of him knowing who he's going against, I'd hope he's not a dummy in that context, that he's going up against one of the best in the world at it. Yeah, and I don't mind Tomlin even saying, we're not concerned. I don't mind that right there. But yeah, Broderick Jones, I think him saying Broderick Jones is not a dummy concerns me.
I would never use those words in the same
He looks
sentence.
like a fun-loving guy, but yeah, no. I'm like I said the other day, I'm more worried about Isaac Seumalo than I am with Broderick Jones over on that side dealing with Myles Garrett.
He also goes on to say at the press conference yesterday, Mike Tomlin says he sees need for the offense. He sees need for offense improvement in all areas before facing the Browns' tough defense. And I think that comes down to coaching. What is it? What is it that you've worked on this weekend to have that improvement moving forward? So, again, we'll be keeping our eye on that. And finally, Mike, one other thing that he did say that I thought was notable was when he was asked about, the NFL and how things are playing out, especially in the division. He says, I'm not a big pitcher guy. Well, no shit. I'm not a big pitcher guy, and he doesn't care if the rest of the AFC North is crumbling. So those were just some of the notable things said at the press conference yesterday. Some, as expected. Other things, again, Mike, Broderick Jones is no dummy. So you got to be salivating if you're Cleveland's defensive line, right? Going into this game.
Yeah, just because you're going up against a young O-line that hasn't hit their potential. And, Broderick Jones is prone to having mental lapses over there. Yeah. You got to be looking at shots.
It's not just Garrett. It's Graham. I mean, it's a good front. They have a great front seven. And, again, to see the offensive line they're up against, that's why this offensive line, I hope that they're continuing in the right direction, because this is going to be a true test for them this weekend, Mike.
It's going to be a big test. And like I said, the best at stopping the run, man. And they're going to get at you.
A couple other things here, Mike, talking about the Ravens a little bit. Big Ben, last week, as he said, this is going to be like 2 bye weeks for the Steelers, having the bye week and then having the Browns, which we contested again on the show, saying, you don't want to have that mindset as a team. As a fan, it's fine. But he ends up coming out, Mike Big Ben, and saying he calls the Ravens pretenders at 1-4. And he says the Pittsburgh Steelers are total contenders. Mike, are you yet buying into the fact that the Ravens are going to come back and win some football games this year? Or are you still one of these guys that they're going to stink all year and they're just not going to win many football games? I think Ben, again, is wrong, Mike. I really do. He says the Ravens are pretenders at 1-4. Way too early for me, Mike. Way too early to call Lamar Jackson and the Ravens pretenders.
I don't see them contending for a Super Bowl or a conference championship. I think they can, spoil, maybe back themselves into the playoffs, maybe win a game, but doing any real damage right now, no, I don't. So
I mean,
I
even when they get a
quasi
healthy quarterback, listen, the ones they lost were Detroit, Buffalo, Kansas City. When they get their quarterback back and they start playing teams that aren't Kansas City, Detroit, Buffalo, I could see them winning a lot of those games. Most of them probably.
it's their defense though. That's their Achilles heel is that defense.
All right. Interesting. And also Juan Thornhill. Juan Thornhill comes out and he says he warns, do not underestimate the Ravens. And also one other comment, Mike, that Juan Thornhill did make, he's saying that TJ Watt is better than Myles Garrett. So,
Well, I always liked Juan Thornhill. I always thought he was a very smart player, and he shows it right there with that comment.
smarter than Ben's comment.
Oh, yeah. Well, yeah. How many hits to the head has been taken?
I don't know. How many?
A lot.
Finally, guys, a couple other things here. Odell Beckham Jr. He's back to expressing his interest in joining the Pittsburgh Steelers. Over the past 24 hours, I've seen multiple comments and articles. Odell Beckham Jr. back on his shit, Mike. He's expressing interest in the Steelers.
I'm expressing interest in dating Florence Pugh. Odell. Okay, we both got that in common.
Who's he?
He'll be here.
Let's see. Let me jump on the board here real quick. Cody says, in my head, Ramsey was on a bike after the game. He was on a bike.
He was on a bike during the game, trying to come back.
I seen it.
I think he came back for a handful of plays and was like, "Nah, it ain't right."
Cody says, in my head, Ramsey was on a bike after that hammy issue. Tomlin said, it moved on me. Hold on. Tomlin said rehab going good, but nothing confirms, although Rap Sheet and Adam Schefter knew. Yeah. S Dad says, chip, chip, chip. Corey says, unfortunately, the win goes toward whoever we beat as a starter, but a 2-for-1 would be sweet. Absolutely. Vegas is at least 3 hands on Myles every play. Yeah, I mean, come on. If you're going to use your extra people, use them this week. You got Calvin Anderson. You got Big Washington. Get all hands on deck. And again, they know the challenge. If they don't, it's going to come down to coaching and not having these guys prepared. You know the challenge. You know what's on the table. You know that this front seven is, it's pretty dominant. So get out there, plan accordingly, and do what you got to do, guys. Big game. You shouldn't. Again, Mike, AFC North is always a crapshoot, but you shouldn't lose this football game, in my opinion, for the Steelers. And finally, the Pittsburgh Steelers, they released Jawan Bentley, Mike, as he came in last week from the practice squad. He was released, but they also brought in yesterday Edge KJ Henry, the veteran. He played for the Commanders for a while. He came in yesterday to do some workouts and try out with the Steelers. So KJ Henry, the Edge, in for tryouts. Jawan Bentley, Mike, just in last week, I think it was, already gone off the practice squad.
Yeah, he's gone. I know someone else from the practice squad got plucked by another team. So a lot of little moves happening on the practice squad. Jawan Bentley, that one kind of shocked me. I thought maybe, we would still keep him around just in case we lose anyone on that inside backer core. But I guess that has to be a good sign that Malik Harrison is tracking to coming back soon, and the guys, they like the way the guys are playing right now. One, with Queen Wilson and Cole Holcomb. So, I guess they have a feeling that Malik Harrison, once he's ready to come back, will be back and ready to go.
Mark Malone, didn't Dan Moore shut Garrett down more often than not? Well, you know what? Garrett hasn't been killing us.
He did. Dan Moore, that was always his best games were against like the Max Crosby's and Myles Garrett's. Those were his best games.
And I'm not going to say he doesn't sack us. He does, but that's what he does. He never changes the game in a sense where TJ Watt comes in and punches out a ball or recovers a big fumble or intercepts it. Those are things that you see Garrett do. If he gets a sack or he gets 2 sacks against you, it is what it is. I don't really look at that as such a bad thing. it's going to happen. He's one of the best pass rushers in the
Mm-hmm.
game. And you know what? If he gets you, he gets you. He's not changing the way the game is where TJ Watt does. And I think that's where Watt certainly gets the advantage because, Mike, a lot of times when Watt makes a play, it's a game-changing play. Ball pops loose or he causes the fumble, then he jumps on the fumble. So but yes, you're right. That's why, Mike, I'm not necessarily afraid of Garrett. But again, I just know that front seven, they do have something special going on over there in Cleveland, and they'll be a problem.
They will too, and that defense and that team feeds off Myles Garrett. So once he starts going, he starts getting hype, and that fires everyone else up. That's like we had Joey Porter. That's Ray Lewis. That type of effect on a team. That's what Myles Garrett can do. So if he starts getting there early, starts getting those "boo, I almost scared you" plays that he's famous for, and some odd reason those plays hype the team up. That's what you got to kind of limit there. So if they can get a tight end over there, or running back over there, or say Amalo can get out of its stance quick enough to help Broderick Jones out, because Myles Garrett loves to shoot that gap in between the tackle and guard. We can be in good business here if Sam All's old ass can help slide over.
Dad says I can see Garrett plowing into Aaron Rodgers during one of his patent plays. That's the thing. I mean, he's not just a talent. The guy, he knows what he's doing. He's going to study. He knows how Aaron rolls. I expect him to be somewhat disruptive. Mike, he's Myles Garrett. Say what you want. He's compared against TJ Watt constantly for a reason. It's not that he's not. He's a great pass rusher, man, and he's going to give us issues. But again, if that's the only issue, and we can contain the one or two issues that they actually bring, we should be able to weather the storm and win this football game. Again, guys, I'm feeling good, but again, the numbers, the recent success is the reason that I'm feeling somewhat pessimistic, because again, the law of average at some point says this team should be able to beat us, Mike, at Pittsburgh again. 21 straight years they haven't done so. That worries the shit out of me. Tortilla says I can just picture Broderick mumbling, "I'm not a dummy," while he's lining up, spotting Garrett on the line. "I'm not a dummy. I'm not."
What the hell was that SNL skit back in the day? Pat would stand in front of the mirror and do who was it? The one that did the affirmations? Yeah. That's going to be Brojo before the game. I hope he balls the fuck out. He just to see him shut down Myles Garrett, the confidence that would do for him, and then for the team going forward, would be huge.
I would just love for him to have a big 3 games, Mike, where he could just build his confidence. He has great blocking Garrett, blocking this guy, and just having confidence after that. And and we see the fruits of that. But as of now, what's the word I'm looking for? That consistency. It's just from week to week. It's like an Etch-a-Sketch. You can have a beautiful picture, but when the week's over and you shake it, it's all gone. Yeah, and you got to start over fresh with this guy.
Mm-hmm. He's like the people I work with that have been doing the same thing for years, coming in. What are we doing today?
Right.
What we've been doing for the past fucking decade.
Leave me alone. Yeah.
There's just certain people, man. They always you just got to build them up every week.
Cody says in my head, Ramsey is not as hard as Tomlin said. Rehab going good. Ramsey was on a bike during the game rap sheet, and Schefter knew our third string center tore his ACL. So at this moment, nothing's confirmed. He also follows it up by saying Big Ben said pretty much 2 bye weeks score prediction 125-0. That score is still going up for Cody.
Up higher and higher.
And you know what? I hope nothing more than that Cody's right. I'm going to be honest with you. I think if he's right, we'll all be happy and singing praises by the end of the weekend. Dad says, what would the Steelers' record be if we had the Ravens schedule to start? We wouldn't be 3-1. I promise you, we wouldn't be 3-1. You got to remember, the only game that they actually won is the team that we're playing next, and everything else has been losses, guys. So Houston, Buffalo, Kansas City, and Detroit. If we would play Detroit, Buffalo, Houston, and Kansas City in the first 5 games, there's no way. There's no way we would have that same record. And that's why I'm saying they will play the teams that we beat. They will play Minnesota. They will play the Jets. You know, they're going to win games. Baltimore's got, that's what I'm saying. These people that are counting Baltimore out is crazy to me. Crazy to me. And then we will start playing Detroit. We will play Buffalo. We will get Baltimore twice. We will get, so again, I think that it's kind of being kind of taking out of context, guys, I really do think that this Baltimore team is going to win a lot more football games. They get on these tears and they'll win a bunch in a row. It's what they do. They do it every year. Matter of fact, losing early is not weird to them. They lose games early a lot of times, and then they go on a tear. Next thing you know, they have double-digit wins, and they are what they are. They're very Steeler-like. They find ways to win. They're a good franchise.
Yeah, they do, but I just don't trust their defense. I don't trust them. Playing like doo-doo.
You know what? Kansas City's offense last year, you couldn't score 31 points all season, and they were in the Super Bowl. So, I mean, when you're good, when teams know how to win, they find ways to win. And you know what? Baltimore has never not been on that side. They've always been a team that found ways to win. And they're just overall, they're good as we are. I'm not saying that they should be considered as this or should be picked for the Super Bowl for that matter, but they're like the Steelers. They find ways to win. They have a good franchise. Of course, building their franchise to be just like ours. Vegas is looking in the mirror, talking to himself like that old SNL. There it is. Yes, it is, Mike. Stuart Smalley.
Yeah, that's right. It was Stewart.
For some reason, I was thinking Pat as well, but that was a different. That was a whole different thing, I think. Cody says not as many as Tua or Chris Olave. Boy, that Miami team down there with Tua, there's something. Matter of fact, they are very, very low scoring, Mike, and that is usually a thing that they were known for, is being able to pass the ball and score points, and they're not even able to do that. Corey Beaver says, let me ask a question I don't think anyone has asked yet this season. Do we miss Minka? Because I don't think I've noticed he was gone for real. I thought about this morning. I was just thinking about this morning, Mike. I don't miss Minka one bit. Because if we have Minka, we don't have Jalen Ramsey.
Mm-hmm.
And Jalen Ramsey's bringing those splash plays that Minka hasn't been bringing for the past couple years. I like Minka. I think he's a good guy, and I think he's an exceptional football player. But, Mike, I don't miss Minka at all. I like him. If I had a choice to have him on my team with what we have, I'd take him. But what happened and the way things are, I don't miss Minka at all right now.
No. I think we're getting a much bigger impact, not only from Jalen Ramsey, but out of Deshaun Elliott, Jabril Peppers, and Chuck Clark. Those guys are producing so much more than Minka did the past couple of years.
I mean, it was nice having the name. It was nice having the All-Pro. Everybody knew Minka.
Yeah.
But if you're not making the plays, what good's he doing?
And Jalen Ramsey is a much more versatile player. He's able to blitz. He's able to stop the run. He's not just playing center field. And, he's the emotional leader of that defense now. Or Minka was one of those other quiet guys.
And you know who else, Mike, I heard was mentioned as a big mouth on the defense is Deshaun Elliott. They were saying
I can see it.
He has the biggest mouth on defense.
Oh, I can see it. And he looks like the guy that would you want to go settle this the old-fashioned way? Let's do it right here. He's the kind of guy that will run his mouth and someone wants to step up to him and back it up, and he'll be like, fuck yeah. He looks like the guy that will scrap in the middle of the field. I love me some Deshaun Elliott. And Jalen Ramsey on the same defense. Get the fuck out of here. Then you have DK on offense just running his mouth to people. I love it.
S-Dad, OBJ is an older version of Pickett. Tortilla says a hard no on OBJ. Let me ask you this, guys. Would you rather have OBJ or nobody at wide receiver 2? Say we could have the team we have now. We don't have to give up much or anything for that matter. If you could just add OBJ to fill a wide receiver spot, would you rather or would you rather not have him? Mike?
I'd rather not have him because he's now serving a 6-game suspension for PED, so he won't be available until week 11, week 12?
Well, considering that we don't have a wide receiver until week 17 or week 18, because we don't even have one.
No, I just no. Odell Beckham, no. For all the drama that he brings, no. Fuck no.
None is having nothing is better than something. That's what you're saying?
Yeah. Okay. I think Jalen Ramsey would beat his ass in front of the entire team.
Mark Malone says, "What has the spirit of the Hulk Hogan punching the ball?" Tortilla says, "I love the. I love now we give Rodgers a new helmet for the Browns game. Like, come and get it, Garrett. Yeah, now he's ready. He's ready for Myles Garrett, Mike.
I remember Broderick Jones' first year in the team. A helmet came loose, and Myles Garrett tried to pick it up and hand it to someone, and Broderick Jones ripped it out of his hand and was wagging his finger at him. So, He does know who he's going against. That guy, Broderick, no helmet. Don't give him a helmet. So Broderick knows that. We're
Richard
good
says
here at
yes.
Brojo.
Ramsey pulled his hamstring on the run back for a touchdown in the first quarter that was called back. He grabbed it as he ran into the end zone. He played through the pain. You could see him grabbing at it during the game. I certainly remember the play. And you're right. He was in quite some time after that injury had happened. So that's why I think it's confusing, because he did continue well into the second half, if I'm remembering right. I could be wrong, but I think he played well into the second half. Vegas says Miles was the number one pick. He's supposed to do what he's supposed to do, while TJ's number 30 and has exceeded expectations. And again, that's another thing too. If Myles Garrett ends up getting a sack or a big play, a tackle for loss, it'd be what it be. Get your ass back in the huddle and figure out what you got to do to counter it or get around it. Mark Malone says, I remember this one douche nozzle saying that we reached for Watt. I don't know who was. It's probably me or somebody.
It was probably
I don't know.
me. I did
probably
not
was
like
you.
I didn't like the pick at the time when it happened because I watched him play one game in college against Penn State. I heard how great he is, and he did fuck all that game, and our offensive line was shit that year.
Yeah.
But I'm glad I was wrong. I'm glad I was wrong.
All these Wisconsin guys turning out to be looking pretty good so far. Mike, as Benton stepped it up last week, of course, as Watt and Herbig looking great as well. Hopefully the Badgers can keep it up. Vegas says, imagine if they really did score 103 points and you sat all the Steelers you had on your fantasy team. Cody says that Richard, he was trolling Justin Jefferson because he tore his ACL last year and he did his dance, the gritty. See, that was kind of the question we had, Mike, after that game. What the hell was that? I remember you did take the stance. You said that he was poking fun at Jefferson, and I said, I was like, that's crazy. How are you going to mess with another guy's injury? I was like, I think there's a real injury there. And he's like, no, he was messing with the guy. And then that ended up being the injury he had. So I don't know, Mike, what the hell is going on?
When he actually got injured, you can see him really, really hold it, and he stopped running way.
I understand that, but it was the same exact leg, the same exact spot. What am I missing?
And this Jalen Ramsey, he hates everyone who's not on his team. He doesn't like any of these guys who's not a part of his team. So yeah, he'll mock anyone out there.
And then he gets hurt in the same exact spot where he's holding for the mock. Okay, I'm just trying to figure out like the guys on the board. I don't know. It's just very odd to be like it was instant karma, you know?
Yeah, that's what it was. It's just
And I think that makes it even worse. Stop doing that shit, Let's see, Mark Malone. I'll go into a translator and find out what Baltimore will do. Cody says Ramsey did have any issues until he was running JJ down on the sideline. Richard says that Cody, I disagree because he kept grabbing it through. I thought so too. That's what I'm saying, Richard. Something was weird about that injury. Mark Malone says Tomlin turned Minka into Stinka. How long till he taints Ramsey? Let's see. Let's grab a few more. We were going to start getting ready to wrap it up here shortly, Mike, as we're rounding third base. 007 says Pat was the character that no one could figure out. Pat was the character.
That's
Mike.
right. Yeah. Androgynous. Yeah.
Because we had somebody in school like that. We called Vern, but it was based off of that Pat character from Saturday Night. But it was the same thing. Nobody knew if Vern was a boy or a girl, so we called her Vern. Vegas says that sound Shim made was hilarious. No BJ Tortillas say Mark Malone OBJ has the right height. Aaron, hey, what's up, man? Always great seeing Aaron on the board. Aaron says, here we go, Steelers. Somber, what's up, bro? Great seeing Somber on the board as well. He says that was a touchdown Selly that he stole from Justin Jefferson. He pulled the hammy later in the game. That's what I'm saying. I'm just trying to piece it together. So he mocked him for the injury, but the same exact spot that he mocked him with was the injury that he ended up getting later in the game. But as Richard was saying, I seen him grabbing at it too throughout the course of the game. So I don't know.
I never saw him grab it.
Mark Malone says, Mike. I
Oh,
seen
I
multiple
only saw
times,
it
and I remember
twice.
I even said at one point, I was like, "Look, he's
I only
grabbing
saw it
that."
twice. I only saw it twice.
Mhm. Saw what twice?
Him grab his hammy
Well, you
twice.
weren't even watching on a yeah. If you would have been watching on a TV, you would have seen
No,
it.
no, I
Or
watched
if
that on. Oh yeah, I did. Shut up. Never mind.
also, well, here's a good thing too, Mike. And if you weren't a Sandusky fan, as Mark Malone's saying, Mike is a Sandusky fan. Enough said.
Yeah, it's a beautiful town. It's a nice, quaint little town up in
Nobody said anything about the town. They're saying
Ohio.
Sandusky, the wacko pedo coach that you followed for years and years and supported.
No, man, no.
You didn't
I'd
support Penn
love to.
State when he was there.
Oh, yeah, I didn't know what he was doing while he was there.
RB says Bailey Zappi named Browns number 2. Really? So maybe no Shador Sanders this week. Let's see. Vegas says I don't care. That's a BS rule. A loose ball and you touch it while not having possession with a foot tends to. You know what? I just kind of related to basketball. Once you're out, you're out. And if you're touching being out and you touch the ball, I think that's what it kind of what that rule bases off of. I mean, even if you don't have possession, you're still touching it while you're touching out of bounds. And I think that's what correlates that. Tortilla says the injury is fake. Ramsey's going to walk out of the tunnel when Renegade is playing and get 2 picks. That'd be fantastic. Maybe, Mike, maybe that would be pretty awesome, especially at home. Could get the crowd excited. Vegas says, looks like Ryan's mic is tripping. Yeah, I am having issues. I'm having issues with our system, and I'm not happy. But I'm strongly making my way through it. Corey says, just got the notification. Flacco will start versus the Packers. And you know what? I actually had that right on my note here, Corey. But I'm going to read Corey's instead. He says, just got the notification that Flacco will start against the Packers. What if Flacco beats the Packers twice in one season with 2 different teams? Would that be the first in history? I don't know if that would be the first, possibly, maybe, but I do. I was going to mention that, Mike. And here's the thing: what if he beats the Packers twice and we end up losing to the Packers? You know, which
and that's right up there with you and your devastating injuries. We don't need none of that bad juju.
Tortilla says, I don't care if he stole that from Jefferson. I've seen that kind of fake injury celebration for years. Vegas is saying, so I'm not sure what that was. Mark Malone says Mike was cleaning the showers afterwards. We all know the truth. You do love that little town over there in
I
central
love that
Pennsylvania,
town.
Mike. We do know that.
Houses Cedar Point and Castaway Bay. I love the town of Sandusky, Ohio.
Let's see. Also, Mike,
I find out someone's a pedo. I never want anything to do with them. I disown them.
And you still a Penn State fan.
We cleaned house. We got rid of the university, cleaned house. Then I came back.
That's then I
came back in, and they got rid of everyone.
You don't really know who in the first place. I don't know who the hell to.
Look, I didn't know. I live hours away from it. I'm not up there investigating stuff all the time.
Nobody lives in that area. What, Penn State?
Yeah, I know, right? They shit up there. That's why you got like college professors banging their dogs on the trail.
Exactly. What the hell's going on out there?
It's not called Creepy Valley for no reason, guys.
Aaron said, isn't there a rule that you can't be the first person to touch the ball if you were out of bounds? It's for receivers for sure, Aaron. Like if a receiver is out of bounds, he can't come in and be the first one to touch the ball. But I think the fact that he was actually literally out of bounds when touching the ball, I think that's where the rule. I think that's what it is, guys.
That's the rule. Yeah, that's right. If you run out of bounds, willingly come back in bounds and touch the ball, you cannot be the first to touch the ball. But if you're out of bounds and then touch the ball, it's done and dead right there.
Somber says we were playing JJ. That's why he did it. Where he got it from is irrelevant.
The twodumbyinzers.com. Let's go over there and take a look, everyone. We got the blog. We got the merch store. We got all the evidence that Vanilla Thunder and Big Sexy was never at Penn State when Jerry St. Just was there. It's all documented on the website. You got to dig for it, but it's over there at the twodumbyinzers.com.
All right, guys, time for the question of the day, trivia of the day. This is how well do you know your enemy? How well do you know your opponent? Of course, this is Brownies week, guys. The Steelers are 4.5-point favorites. They are going to be hosting the Browns 1 o'clock on Sunday before they head to Cincinnati just 4 short days later to take on the Bengals. But, Mike, this is a Browns question day. Put on your thinking caps, everybody on the board. Everybody at home, here we go. Question of the day. Mike, since the Browns been back in 1999, they came back, the expansion Browns, the franchise, the expansion Browns, not the Browns all time. What is the most points the Browns have scored in a game since they've been back as the franchise Browns? Mike, the most points the Browns scored in a game since they've come back as the second franchise, the Browns in 1999. Take a minute to think that over, guys. Most points the Browns have scored in a game. Think that over. We're live 5 days a week right here, Monday through Friday, 11:30 a.m. to 1:30 p.m. every day right here on the Tube. The Tube. So question of the day, Mike. The new Browns. The Browns are only 26 years old. What's the most points they've scored in a game? Again, if you don't know, you're probably not going to know. Just take a stab at it. Whatever you think it may be, I'll give you a hint. This amount of points was scored, this high score that they had was in 2007. In 2007. Richard on the board, he's just guessing 48 is his guess. Vegas is saying probably in the playoffs versus Steelers, which there was a lot of points scored that game. But, guys, this game was in 2007, and this was the most points that the Browns, since they came back, is the new Browns in 1999. Mike, any guess? What's the thought process? 56007 is saying on the board. Richard is saying 48. And I'm looking for the most amount of points the Browns have scored in a game.
I'm going to go with 45.
I think it's 40. 45, not a bad pick. 35, again, at the same 35.
I'm pretty sure they haven't hit 50.
All right, so 45.
45.
Well, I know they scored a lot against
45.
us in that playoff game, and that's what would make me think it would probably be more than the 35 that Kenneth is saying, because that game against us, I'm pretty sure they scored more. I don't recall what that score was, guys, but I do know that Richard says 48. I do know that 00 says 56. I do know Corey says 40. I do know that Kenneth says 35. Mike, are you going to stick with 45 as your final answer?
Yes, sir.
Why not, right? All right. Log you in, Mike, on 45. The question of the day. What is the most points the new Browns have scored in a single game? This is the team that started back in 1999, the 26-year-old Browns. Same color, same uniform, same name. Mike, this team says scored 45 points. Somber is saying 51 points on the board. Vegas says they scored 6 on our first play on offense. Guys, the correct answer, it was in 2007. It was a game against the Bengals. Corey's changing his answer to 49. Tortilla's saying 67. So a lot of different, a nice array of answers, Mike, on the board. The most points that were scored by the new Browns in 2007 against the Bengals, Mike, was a 51-45 win. 51-45 over the Bengals in 2007. 51 points being the most. Somber hit that one right on the head. The most points the new Browns have ever scored, 51. Great job on that. Mike, I got a question for you. Does Mark Sanchez continue to be called butt fumble when he has to do time in jail? People still call Mark Sanchez butt fumble. Or the guys in jail when he has to do his time for the assault.
Yeah, that's not a good nickname to go into jail.
That's not a good nickname when you're in jail. And especially, he's not a defensive lineman. He's a quarterback. If you were a defensive lineman or a linebacker, I'd like my chances a little better. If you were a quarterback doing time, which he's supposed to be doing a little bit of time, I would not want the name butt fumble is all I got to say, Mike.
No, I would not. I would not. He's facing what, up to 4 years?
Up to 4 years, yeah. I know, geez, oh man, I know guys that did more that got less, to be honest with you. So I don't know. We will see and continue to follow that. But again, I don't think that's a good name for a quarterback-sized man heading into jail, Mike, heading into jail, named Butt Fumbles. So there you
Not
go.
not a good one.
Somber. Yes, they did. They sure did. They beat the Steelers 51-0 in 1989. That was the last time they had a good year where they finished above the Steelers.
That was the real Browns.
That was the real Browns, though. Yeah. Corey says his cellmate's name his cellmate's name is Buttfucker. I know that much. Vegas says his butt will be the topic in jail, but it won't have anything to do with fumbling a football. And also Kenneth Jones says he will be called NFL Pile-On. It's probably better.
Nice.
Right? Look at Richard. Richard is saying it's probably better than Tuck and Run. Guys, they're on fire today. It's hump day, guys. It's midweek. Everybody's ready to get back to Steeler football. I'm loving, there's a certain amount of optimism that I do like, Mike. But again, there's just those few things for me that's kind of keeping me level with this Browns game. I think this is as big as game as you're going to get at this point in the season. Like going 4-1 for the Steelers team, I think is big, and especially not dropping the ball after having the bye, after facing a rookie quarterback, and all those things that Mike Tomlin's teams generally do well. I say we probably should win. I do have mostly I'm feeling optimistic, but again, Mike, there's those little things. But we are starting to wrap things up here for the day. Anything before we do that, Mike?
No, I got nothing. Other than this was fun, man. I had a blast, like always.
Absolutely. We'll be back tomorrow to do it all over again. Tomorrow will be Picks Day as we start to get closer to the weekend and get it closer. Mike, and again, just 5 days separate our next two Steeler games. So there's going to be a lot going on early next week as we kind of start crunching everything in. But I also do want to say, if you are involved in doing the CBS Pick'ems tomorrow night, so you're going to want to make sure you get on and get your picks made. Maybe get in early so you don't miss out. But Mike, tomorrow, Thursday night, is when the CBS Pick'ems start to count. Everybody on the board had a rough week last week, Mike, with the way the games went. But I think everybody's going to get back into a very, very smart group of people in there. So do make sure you don't forget to get your CBS Pick'ems in. Mike, we'll put the link up on the board. Also, just right outside here on our main page on YouTube, you can find the link very easily right there at the top of the page. Hit that link. It takes 30 seconds to sign up. It costs nothing to participate. Just get in and make your picks for the week. We're having a lot of fun with that. Also, I do want to say thank you to everybody who came and hung out with us today. We certainly appreciate each and every one of you. We truly, honestly do. We wouldn't do it without you guys. Thank you so much. I want to say thank you to everybody on the board. The board always making the show interesting, Mike, and everybody at home or in the gym or in the car, wherever you may be, earbuds in, maybe just watching on your TV at your house. Thank you too. Mike, again, tomorrow will be Picks Day. We'll get that in. And then tomorrow night, the NFL Week 6 kicks off. Sunday morning. Are you watching the Sunday morning game this week, Mike? It's the Jets and somebody. Are you in? Listen, I hated these Sunday games last year, and I hated it, but leading up to the Steeler game, I kind of dig having the early game now, though. I don't know. It's growing on me.
If it's my team, yeah. It's another team, no. I'm going to sleep. I'm going to sleep.
All right. And you know what I say that considering the P on the other side of the planet, he's like, still the day before watching the game, and the people on the West Coast, they're up at 5:00 in the morning to watch this game. And I'm up over here saying, yeah, I love this Sunday morning. But you know what I do, Mike? I like waking up with football already happening, and then I could get into my game as it comes around 1:00. Again, Sunday, guys, the Steelers hosting the Cleveland Browns. Pretty big game, in my opinion. Somber says Sanchez about to find out the true meaning of tush push. Vegas says he won't see real time in jail. He'll have to do some sort of AA meetings and be on house arrest. That seems more likely to me. It's not like this guy has a record or has been in trouble his whole life.
Lock him up.
Seems to me that he probably has money to afford the. You know how that goes. Vegas says, or he'll pay. Okay, he'll pay to get a presidential pardon since that's a thing these days. I did see Diddy. Diddy did ask for a pardon. We'll see what happens with that. Also, I do want to. Yeah, go ahead.
Like a pardon, like that's like admitting you did the crime. You just get away scot-free.
Well, he did do the crime, and I don't think anybody's denying that, right?
Yeah, I think some of these people think a pardon means like, oh, that means I didn't do it.
Hell no.
Means, yeah.
I do also want to say, when you do watch the football games this weekend, try out, as you see right here, my beer pyramid, my beer can pyramid, guys, Duquesne Pilsner. They do help us out here on the show. They certainly mention us in their promotions, and we're greatly thankful for that. So I ask guys, do give a little bit back. Just swing by over there on Duquesne Pilsner's anywhere on any of their social medias and hit the like button. Just show them some love. They certainly do the same for us. So try them out, Mike. It is made right here in Pittsburgh, the finest beer in town. And as it says on the back of the can, grab a Duke. So try it out for the game this weekend. If you've already tried it out, just go ahead and get yourself another case. Enjoy, Mike. We do always have Duquesne Pilsner on tap here at the studio for when we're here watching games. And I give them a try, guys. I think you'll really love it. So there you go, Duquesne Pilsner.
Yeah, and that pyramid gets rebuilt every week because that's those 10 beers you see right there. That's what Ryan drinks in the first quarter alone.
Also, guys, I did want to say, if you haven't had a chance, we do have plenty of we are on plenty of social media as well. Go check us out on Facebook, formerly known as Twitter, Instagram, Threads, and even on TikTok, guys. Go over, hit the follow button, just keep up with what the two dumb Yinzers are up to on a day-to-day basis. And finally, guys, if you haven't had a chance to today, just down below, hit the like button, hit the sub, the share, and even comment if you'd like. Helps us out. We appreciate it greatly. Mike, as we wrap it up, man, this is pretty much it for the day. Any special words of wisdom before we go?
Words of wisdom. When you get an ingrown hair, you make sure that thing is big and pulsating before you pop it. It's extra satisfying.
And there you go, guys. You heard it here. You heard it here. Vegas
I had nothing prepared.
Vegas says closed mouth doesn't get fed. Cody says the Browns look like Penn State on Sunday. Oh, these Penn State comments are coming, man. They
on the list. Like someone wants a permanent home on the list.
Vegas says UNLV beat UCLA, who beat Penn State. So that means UNLV basically beat Penn State. I agree. I agree
Vegas,
that 100%.
You're on the list, Vegas.
You're
on the list.
Don't eat the yellow snow. That is always good advice. Mike, I do think that is everything, my friend. So I do want to say that we'll be back tomorrow. Tomorrow is pick day. Tomorrow we are heading into week 6 with the game starting tomorrow night, the NFC East matchup. So we hope that everybody joins us then. And I do feel like I'm forgetting something, Mike, but I think that I'm just gonna go ahead and say F it, and I'll take a note and talk about it tomorrow if I remember it. But speak now or forever hold your peace, Michael.
I'd blast.
All right, guys. Thank you again so much. Everybody enjoy the rest of your hump day. Stay safe. Get ready for the Steelers, baby. We got the Browns. Big game coming up this weekend, Mike. And you know what? I think, as I said, I think the fans are going to be chomping at the bit at the stadium as well, as we have not won at Acrisure Stadium yet this year. I think the tailgates are going to be big. I think the game is going to be big. I think it's going to be loud. And again, coming home after all these weeks not being at Pittsburgh, very exciting. And guys, I'm leaning toward the Steeler win. There's just those few little things, Mike. Law of average is keeping me grounded here. But ultimately, I think the Steelers win this football game. We'll be back tomorrow to talk about that and so much more heading into the hold on. Let me see. Vegas says I am the list. My mom went to Penn State. But yes, thank you so much, everybody. We'll be back tomorrow to talk about so much more. Mike will be gathering information between now and then. We'll see you tomorrow, and we'll go over that and get ready for this Steeler game, guys. Again, everybody have a great hump day. Thank you so much for being here. We'll see you tomorrow. Bye-bye.